Hello everyone, and welcome to the Nethergreen Podcast. Today is the 14th episode. It's not really a special one, it's just a normal one, I suppose.
No, you're wrong.
It's just a normal
You're wrong.
episode.
No, this isn't just the 14th episode. This is the 14th episode Spectacular.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's right, we've got all the sticks are coming in, you know, we're breaking out
We
different...
We have all our former guests.
Yeah.
We've got all of our listeners in. We've got former President of the United States, Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
We couldn't get any of the good ones.
Yeah.
We've got...
We got Joe Biden's cousin.
We do.
Yeah.
We've got his son. He shouldn't be here. He's violating his probation by being here.
He should be here. And I mean, we've got them all here illegally.
That's true too.
We've captured them all. They didn't want to be here. Like they're not here as guests on the podcast. No, we just abducted them, and they're somewhere in this building.
Yeah, in this vast building we film in.
Yeah,
we film in an abandoned warehouse. If people didn't know.
Yeah,
and we don't own it. We just found it one day, and it's so big that we found it years ago. We're still here, not by choice. We just don't know.
We're lost. Yeah, we have no idea how to leave.
Every time we think we found a door that leads to the outside world, we're back at the beginning. Yeah. It makes no sense. I think there's a loop of time. I'm not even sure if these are getting out there. This is why we started a podcast to break free.
Yeah, yeah.
But
speaking of time, we're gonna be talking about Doctor Who.
Docky Ho.
We're going to be talking about, other things as well.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about time, space, and the multiverse with the Spider-Man trailer.
Oh, yes, baby.
But first, Hector, even though I did just say, and it is canon, that we live in this abandoned building and we have no way out, how was your day?
Other than that, my day's been good. Yeah, I had my first day working at a new workplace I'll be doing web design.
Oh, yeah, the one that turned up in the building. Yeah. Like randomly.
Yeah, he just kind of like appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Looked to me and said, "Hey, are you there?"
And I'm telling you, man, I was in that room not 15 minutes beforehand. There was no one there. Oh, I don't know where they came.
Yeah, I mean, he sensed my ability to perform the role that he needed in his company, and he was like, "Hey,
but that's cool, man.
You're right for this role in the company," and he gave it to me.
Did you have fun? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. It was mostly just like admin stuff, like setting up my emails and like getting all ready and stuff.
You have emails. That's cool.
Emails.
That's cool.
I've got hector@bleep.co.uk.
See, that's good. I don't have an email. Not a single one. So that's really cool, man. Congrats.
He doesn't have a phone number either. No social media. It's quite weird, actually.
I don't even have a national insurance number. I'm off the grid.
He's off the grid, man. He's off the grid. He lives off of his own piss. He's got like a solar panel.
I take petty jobs for cash. Yeah, my day's been good too. I'm having a meeting tomorrow to discuss another one of my scripts being made.
Is that the one?
It's the car one.
Yeah.
And tomorrow I'm going to be discussing with the director and the producers of the project. It'll be my first meeting with them. We're going to discuss if the script needs any changes, just to adapt to, how they can film it, which I'm fine to do, as you'll know from Actors Bias. If little changes, as a writer, my approach to changes is if something needs changing, that's fine. Just let me be the one who changes it.
Yeah.
If the words on the page aren't to your liking, that's fine. Let me replace them with new words, but every word on that page should be mine. This is my script.
Yeah.
Don't
fuck with my script, man.
This meeting isn't going to be them telling me, "Hey, man, we don't like this, and this, and we have rewritten it." If that happens, I would honestly be like, "I'm out." I'm out. 100%. You can't use this. No. If you want to change the script, let me do it. Let me tell me what you want, and let me do it. It's what I'm here for. I'm that guy.
It's common courtesy, isn't it? Imagine getting someone else's work given to you and be like, "Oh, that's awesome, man, but I've just changed a bunch of stuff. Hope you don't mind."
Yeah, man. Imagine you have to do a presentation with someone. You spent all night, all week, all night, all week. You've been up all week.
Yeah.
Fucking just typing
working
it up.
hard, writing it up.
And then at the end, you send it to a guy, and the next day he comes in and is just like, "By the way, I reworked the entire presentation." I did all the slides again. I even adapted the script. I hope you don't mind. I did it all last
really
night.
crap, like a really
Don't worry,
crappy
don't
PowerPoint
worry.
presentation.
It took me an hour. It's fine. Like, yeah, man. No, so yeah, hopefully it goes well. And yeah, I'm totally, genuinely, if changes need to be made so you can make this, I'm all for it. Especially this early in my career. Completely get it. Just let me be the one to help you. Let me help you. I'm a writer. You're not, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Or you would have written your own projects. You've come to me for a reason. I'm a writer.
Exactly.
Let me do what I should do.
Yeah.
No? But yeah, I hope it goes well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it being made. I would have loved to have seen it be made with Daniel. But I'm being honest, I kind of want it made sooner rather than later. And I feel like on Daniel's kind of time and schedule.
Yeah.
And I don't mind him hearing this. He knows it's true. You know it's true, you little bitch. On Daniel's timing and scheduling, it could take like up to a year.
Yeah.
And no, and if these guys are willing to do it sooner than that, yeah, so be it. You know, they're going to be doing that, and unlike with our film with Daniel Actors Bias, I'm not going to be there on set. You know, I'm writing it.
They'll just be doing it.
Yeah, I'm handing it off to them, and let's see what they do with it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, I'm excited for it. Should be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't just adapt loads of random shit unnecessarily.
I mean, I will say, because the only reason this happened is because they're friends of a friend of mine who's on my course. I don't know any of these people, and thus I haven't actually seen anything they've made. So yeah, I'm going on faith.
Hopefully they do a good job.
I have to believe they do. That's all I can say. I have to believe they do.
Yeah. Obviously it would suck if they do a terrible job, but...
Well, luckily, this is only a uni project, essentially. I'm not signing the rights over to them legally, you know. If they do a shit job, I'll remake it in a couple of years, you know. Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I suppose as well, it's trial and error, isn't it? Like, not everything you make is going to be perfect anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. And if reshoots need to be done, you know, so be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and hopefully it'll be good. And when it's out, you know, I will let everyone know, actually, no, not including you, Hector.
Not me, specifically. The podcast will know.
When I tell the podcast, I'll record it separately to this and alone, so you never know.
But then what if I just listen to the podcast episode?
You don't. You hate the sound of your voice. And
That's
mine.
true, yeah,
You hate the sound of your voice.
This is true, yeah.
Every episode's
I haven't listened to a single episode so far.
It's true. And the one episode you did listen to, you ended up being like, wow, that was terrible.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
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 So, Hector, what should we talk about? We've got a couple of things we can talk about before we get into some of the bigger topics, the bigger projects, the bigger discussions.
I suppose we could talk about the small things that have happened.
The small things in life. They're the most precious.
Yeah, they are. They're the most important parts of life, man. Just the little things that happen to you day to day.
The sunsets.
Yeah, just the nice little things that happen to you day to day.
Smelling a flower. You know?
But also, those fucking Insulate Britain protests
are they back
still happening.
Oh,
it's still happening. Still happening. And there was a post on Instagram that I saw of them being sat in a cycle lane blocking cyclists. I just thought,
wait, what?
Yeah.
But cyclists,
I know.
that doesn't even, what?
Yeah, it makes no sense at all. It's so fucking dumb.
You should want cyclists.
Exactly.
That's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it was really, really stupid. I just thought, at this point, this is just retarded. At this point, this makes no sense.
Man, and yeah, wow. You can tell that they've got some fucking great strategists behind them there, haven't they? Fuck me.
Honestly, it's obvious that there's no strategy. They just go out probably drunk and high. And then think, hey,
that's actually crazy, because, like, bicycles are, like, that's, like, perfect. That's what you want. Like, no gas emissions. The only energy is your own produced. Like, why would you discourage that?
Yeah,
man.
But that's the type of people that we're dealing with. Just complete retards.
I will say that I feel like the cyclists are luckier, because when they get there, they can just pick up the bike and carry on. And kick them as they move. Like, hey, piss off, you pricks.
Fucking idiots.
I didn't know they were still at it.
Yeah,
actually, I got worried, because when I had my graduation, I was like, man, imagine if I end up late to my graduation because of dickhead fucking Insulate Britain protesters.
Yeah.
But then I saw that apparently they put out a notice being like, we're only going to do it on Wednesdays or some shit like that. Like, fuck you. We talked about this last week, but fuck you guys.
Them. Yeah.
You're the worst. We don't like you.
We don't like them.
We are pro your cause, anti you.
Hey man, love what you're doing. I hate you.
We love what you're doing. We hate the way you're doing it. It's the best way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, man. When are they going to give up? When they get what they want, I guess. If they get what they want. Imagine if in 10 years we're still like, man, they're at it again. They're doing it again.
Honestly, at that point, I would lose all hope, to be honest. I'm happy I didn't see any when I went out in London last weekend.
Eventually, they're going to start strapping themselves to blimps and hauling themselves in front of airplanes. Yeah. Fucking protests.
I did see something else, actually, that happened recently that's a bit more severe than that. And that was it was Liverpool, actually. It was Liverpool. So basically, this guy was taking someone in his taxi to a hospital in Liverpool. And they were supposed, because like it was to do with, like, what was it? It was a suicide bomber. In his
car.
Taxi. Yeah. And like the suicide bomber wanted to go to like some, like commemoration or something. I can't remember. And like they couldn't go because of blockages or something. And so he took him over to the hospital to get out, and like he noticed that like he was like doing stuff with his vest, and so he locked the car doors, and the suicide bomber just blew up in the taxi.
He managed to get out though.
He saved lots of people's lives. There
was footage from the hospital from a man whose wife was in there giving birth.
Yeah,
like that's crazy.
Yeah, that man could have like gotten into the building and killed all of the people in that hospital.
I didn't know that was in Liverpool though. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, wow. Like that's like relatively close. That's like properly in the UK.
And was it properly like a terrorist attempt? Do we know?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, like.
Was he the only one? Were there more?
I think it was just that one.
Man.
Who knows? I mean, there might have been more. I mean, we don't know. That's the only one that has like gone off.
Man, well, fucking awful people.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as Insulate Britain protesters.
Not quite as bad.
Not quite as bad.
See, I always thought like all of that sort of thing, like suicide bombers, are like the most retarded shit ever. Like, obviously, like war and shit like that is also retarded, but like, I don't know, like, you know, like world wars, there's like huge armies attacking each other, and it's the whole country versus the entire other whole country. With people,
that's what war usually is. You're correct.
With suicide bombers, it's not even remotely like that at all. It's just a random group of people who, you know, none of us like have any problem with them. You know, our country isn't at war with them or anything like that. They've just decided to go into a random building full of random people who probably don't even know who they are and kill them.
Yeah.
What does doing this achieve?
And I think after I say this, I'm not going to continue. I'm not going to elaborate. I will not elaborate the statement.
Yeah.
Religion.
Yeah.
You know, I think it has a really. I said I wasn't going to elaborate. And
you're elaborating now.
No, I'm going to elaborate up to this point.
Okay.
They say it's not. I mean, it is a really big part of it, and yeah, that's it. I'm not elaborating further. I don't want to get into that because that can get into controversial topics, and I don't want to become like a, you know, a left wing or right wing podcast or whatever wing would be.
Yeah.
I just want to be a fun, chatty podcast with my friend.
Yeah. But yeah, that's obviously a tragic, but also not tragic because he was a hero and he saved people in a hospital from being killed.
No, what a fucking hero! Yeah,
so, no, good for him, and apparently he survived. Yeah. He survived. Okay, he managed to dive out of the car before it like detonated.
Good.
So yeah, good for him. So that's good news. Aside from annoying Britain protesters, and other good news, we had Elon Musk, who's apparently. Well, he said he was going to pledge, what was it, $6 billion to WPF. But then WPF responded saying, oh, no, actually $6 billion won't save world hunger.
Yeah. Did they say how much actually would?
No, they didn't say how much it actually would. I think that's like way too complicated to figure out how much it would take to solve world hunger. I'm not sure it's possible to solve world hunger now.
So in a way, it's actually not good news.
Yeah, no, it's not good news. But at least I think he is going to pledge money to it. So like, they said it would like.
I think he's already sold Tesla stock.
Oh, has he?
I believe so.
Because like they did say, although 6 billion wouldn't solve world hunger, which I thought was cringe, because like, why say that in the first place then if you're just going to come back and say, oh wait, whoopsie, no, it can't solve world hunger. Like, it just makes them look like fools.
It was a clickbait title, you know?
Yeah, it just makes them look like fools, but...
Are you now a fool?
But they did say that 6 billion would be enough to save 42 million people that are on the brink of starvation. So that's
so he is doing it.
Saving 42 million people, that's like almost the population of England.
So he is doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is good news.
Yeah,
Why didn't you stop me?
Yeah, but like obviously it's not as good a news as solving
actual world hunger. But it's still good news.
It's still good news. Yeah.
That's like if they were like, hey, we haven't cured cancer, but we cured this one guy. And we're going to figure out how we did it.
Yeah.
Like, that's good news, you know? He's like, yeah, because that's the thing. In that time, hopefully, they'll figure their shit out and they'll be like, okay, what would we actually need? You know? Stop spouting random numbers.
Yeah.
Figure your shit out. Because that's what Elon wanted. He wanted like an itemised bill of exactly what the money would be spent on.
Because I think realistically they had no idea and they were just blowing smoke. Yeah.
So actually figure it out. Itemise it. How much would you actually need? And let's see if once you figure it out, if Elon would still put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah. I don't think you could just solve world hunger, even with all the money in the world. Because, like, the money isn't the problem. The problem is so much more than that.
Well, money's still a big problem, I'd say.
I'd say, like, for example, like, the main problem is that there's, like, not enough food.
There's not enough food, but at the same time, a lot of food gets wasted because people simply don't have money to buy it.
That's true, yeah.
Like, look at McDonald's. They'd throw McDonald's in the bin rather than give it to homeless people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know? And if you give it to homeless people, guess what? You are fired. You're done. Get out of here, kid.
Really?
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, dude. You get reprimanded for that shit. Do not give money to homeless. Do not give food or money. I'm sure they wouldn't like it if you gave their paychecks to homeless.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't like that either. Yeah.
But yeah, don't give food to the homeless is McDonald's policy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. And, you know, yeah, fuck, I mean, the food is good though.
The food is good, but, you know,
I'd never work there.
It's the same with big companies. The things they make is good.
Let me quickly elaborate on that. I say I'd never work there. I want to quickly stress, not because it's like, no one should feel bad for working there. I wouldn't work there because I think McDonald's as a company doesn't care about its employees. I wouldn't want to be treated like dirt, which I think they do. And if you need to do that for money and like that's how you have to do it, fair enough. If you can handle it, fucking good on you. You're stronger than I am. I'd be so pissed off being treated like that. Yeah. That's all I can say.
This is the thing though, like, big companies are terrible, aren't they? Because, like, look at Disney. Disney is a huge company that makes loads of stuff that everyone loves, but it's, like, the worst fucking company ever. Like, they're just, like, basically pure evil. And they always have been, kind of, really, haven't they? Like, they've always been, like, a bit fucking shitty. It's the same with so many big companies, like Apple. Everyone loves their iPhones, you know, everyone loves their iPhones. But
he just held up an iPhone.
I just held up an iPhone. But at the same time, they had riots in loads of their factories in India because they were paying people $5 a month.
Did you see that recent Terry Crews advert for Amazon?
No.
So, you know Terry Crews? He's the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and White Chicks.
Yeah.
He recently did like a 30-second advert for Amazon where he was... Because Amazon, like, they're doing a mass hiring right now.
Yeah.
And it was like, he's in the... I'm not going to bring it out, but I'm going to summarise it. And honestly, I think I'm going to do a good job.
Okay.
This was the video.
Yeah.
So the first shot is him, like, in the warehouse, and he's like, I heard Amazon was hiring. I've come here to see what it's like. And he starts doing the packaging, and they're like, oh, he's like, and a guy with a forklift comes, and he's like, oh my God, you get to drive a forklift? And then he's sat in a cafeteria with a woman in a wheelchair, and she's trying to eat her lunch, and the table is like at her chin. I just want to quickly stress, I need to stress that point. Like, man, she looks like she's struggling to eat at this table. why are your tables so high? but Terry Crews has done like, so you're saying these guys pay your tuition? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, oh my God, I might actually go to college now. Ha ha ha. And he starts laughing. And then, there's a couple more shots. And at the end, he's like, wow, this is great. Why wouldn't you want to work here? And he smiles at the camera and shit. And then it comes up with, some text. And it says, benefits include tuition paid, something else, and then the third and final benefit they've included is simply other benefits. You could have come up with more than two.
Yeah.
More than two reasons why you really should work here. And that's another thing. They pay your tuition as long as you work there, and not all at fucking once. You're basically that's a way of locking you into a contract and making it so you have to keep your job.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a benefit. You're holding me hostage. Like,
oh yes, and you, Terry Crews, you love working at Amazon.
It was so fucking corporate and so cringe to see.
That is really cringe, isn't it?
It really was. Yeah.
I thought we were past those days of like mindless, unintelligent advertising.
Man, we'll never. No, that's the thing. Because the human race hasn't evolved that much, we'll never get out of that. We're always going to be. There's always going to be people out there. There will actually be people out there who see that advert and are like, well, if Terry Crews says Amazon's good.
Oh, man.
I mean, I know him from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love Terry. Terry loves yogurt.
Oh, man.
There's going to be people out there like
you're
that,
probably not. You're probably not even wrong.
I'm not.
There are going to be loads of people out there who will love that advert.
Yeah. And
they'll be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get a job at Amazon, man.
Terry Crews wants a job at Amazon and he's an actor.
Oh. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was cringe. It was bad. Talking of kind of cringe. And you know what? I don't know if this is even bad news. It's not good news. It's like not even news. It's just something that happened. There was this rock star. I don't know the name of her band.
Oh.
But she was with a band. And this happened a couple of days ago. She was at a concert. And in the middle of the concert, she was like, man, I need a piss. Any volunteers? Because if I need to piss, might as well make it a show. And some guy in the audience put his hand up and was like, oh, me. Pick me. Pick me.
Pick me.
He whipped his shirt up. Me. And she picks him. And he comes up on stage. And then and when I showed you the video, it was muted. She's still singing. As she's singing the song, she pulls down her trousers, squats over him, and takes what I can only describe as an abnormally large amount of piss on his face.
Yeah.
Live on stage. What? What are you doing?
God damn.
Like, don't get me wrong, not as bad as Travis Scott's concert.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
But man, that's like, wow. And then she finishes the song, and then once the song finishes, she nips off stage anyway for a second. You could have just pissed then. Let's be honest.
I mean, she probably nipped off stage because she realised, oh, God, I probably shouldn't have done that.
And yeah, they had to do an apology, and they did say that, like, yeah, she had too much to drink and she was overexcited. She pissed on a guy's face on stream. Like,
Jesus Christ.
And man, yeah, I showed you the video. That was so much piss.
That was a lot of piss. Like, she drenched this
She
bald
waterboarded
guy in
this man.
piss. And he was like, in the piss.
And he started scooping it off the floor and
throwing it at people.
They were probably loving it. There was so much piss, she could have brought up 3 volunteers. And for all 3 of them, that still would have been a large amount of piss.
Yeah.
But yeah, and fucking videos like that, like, what are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking? Imagine doing that. Imagine being that. Imagine if you were a famous musician on stage and you were like, I need a piss. Wait. I know what I'm gonna do. And then you specifically, Hector, you invite like a girl up, a volunteer girl.
And you piss on her.
Yeah, and you're like, get on your knees. I'm gonna piss on you now. And you just piss on her on the stage.
If that happened, it would be 100 times worse. Like, the repercussions for that. Now, I don't want to turn this into
But isn't it crazy that that's the case?
I don't want to turn this into that kind of a debate, but I'm just saying,
no, it would be.
For a fact, if a guy did that and got a girl to come up on stage and just got his cock out and pissed all over her face, there would be utter outrage, like the angry feminists who would come at that would just be endless.
No,
Like,
you're right, but
they would be cancelled.
It should be the same here. It shouldn't be any different. Like, this is still weird and inappropriate.
But nothing will happen to her. Like, she'll
No,
probably be
absolutely
fine.
nothing. Yeah.
Which is like, it makes me reminisce of like the shit that happened to Johnny Depp. And like that shit pisses me off. People talk about, oh, everyone's so sexist to women. Everyone's so sexist to women all the time. Really?
Johnny Depp?
Really? Yeah, Johnny Depp. Look, that's like a prime example of how you are completely wrong and you're just a fucking retard.
Alright, let me quickly brush into Johnny Depp for one specific reason, because I found out that Amber Heard is doing talks around the US about domestic abuse. Here's my two massive problems with that. One, there's equal amounts of proof that she abused Johnny Depp as there is that he abused her. You know, there's equal amounts of proof. You know, and there's probably more proof that she abused him. But even if you discard the Johnny Depp situation, she still has an actual prior conviction for domestic abuse. She hit one of her ex-partners in like 2014 and was charged. Why is she going around the country? Is she giving talks on how to domestic abuse? Choose anyone else. Choose anyone. Any other celebrity that has been domestically abused. Any one of them that hasn't also done it themselves. Yeah. Like, what a terrible
She's probably
example.
doing it to try and like aid her whole Johnny Depp case.
She said she'd give a load of money to a charity against domestic abuse, by the way. Not a penny so far.
Yeah.
Not a penny. Not. And that's been confirmed. Not a penny.
Of course not.
Man. Terrible woman. I hope Aquaman 2 flops.
Yeah, I hope so too, man.
Yeah.
I hope so too. And, yeah, it just proves it, doesn't it? Like, I do think, honestly, in today's age, there is more sexism against men than there is sexism against women. As a fact. It's just true.
Let's not elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, let's not elaborate on that, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. That's just a theory. A game theory.
A sexism theory.
Talking of fucking movies, though. So, last episode, I filled you in on the fact that Eternals is the first MCU film made rotten. You know, we were like, oh, we've got to see that as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And then I very much promptly went and saw it without you.
Yes.
Now, the reason I saw it without you was that my sister was really bugging me to see it. And it was the last day I had 2-for-1 tickets. So I was like, what the hell? And hey, we can still see it.
I don't want to.
You don't want to, that's fine. But let me give you a quick spoiler-free review. Until you do see it, because I don't want to spoil it for you, because there are some things you can spoil. But spoiler-free review, it was meh. This was the first MCU film. No, that's the end of my statement. It was the first one, yeah. They rebooted the universe.
That was it. That was the whole series.
Yeah, this is the new Iron Man. Yeah. But no, okay, this was the first MCU film where, in the cinema, I had legitimate trouble. Like, I was really struggling to watch the film on a very visual level. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe my eyes are getting worse. I don't know if it was just, like, the cinema. Maybe there was a problem with the projector. The film looked really fucking washed out and dark. It just looked like shit. And I can't describe it any way. It looked like shit.
It looked like shit.
It did. It looked like really bad shit. And I had uni mates who saw it, and I messaged them, and I was like, "Did it look like shit to you guys?" And they were like, "No, man. Like, I thought it looked good." My only theory is that it must have been a problem with the projector. I think because some of these films are supposed to be 4K. Have you ever seen a 4K high dynamic range not on a high dynamic range screen?
Yeah, like with the Blackmagic cameras.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And I think that's what it was. I think for some reason they played it without the high dynamic range.
Maybe.
And it just made it look really fucking bad.
Yeah.
And I struggled to watch it. If I am going to watch it again, I don't want to watch it here. I want to go watch it in like Cambridge or something, to be honest, or in Bury. I want to watch it somewhere else because, man, I struggled.
Yeah.
This was the first MC, because, like, and not just from a visual level, I've got to be honest, but in the first hour of the film, this was the first MCU film where I was sat in the cinema and I was like, I could leave. I was never going to leave. But the thought actually...
You were thinking about it.
No, not even that, but the thought occurred to my mind, like, if I was to leave this one, I don't think I'd be that upset. Not like optionally, but like if something happened and I had to be dragged out of the cinema, or like I got a call and it was like, you know, you have to come home quick.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, alright, yeah, see you soon actually, sure. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't have been that, like that happened during like, you know, Infinity War, Civil War, I would have been like, fuck no.
Yeah.
But during this one I was like, yeah, alright, yeah, I'll be home soon actually, sure.
Yeah.
I'll catch it another time, you know?
Yeah. And left your sister.
Yeah, stay here. I'll bleep her name actually, yeah. Oops. But I don't know, okay. It's hard to do it without properly spoiling it, but I'm really going to try. This film had some real problems with the amount of characters there are. It's a long film, but these are like, there's like 10 characters, 10 main characters. Obviously, some of them die off. I don't think that's a spoiler. You got to be expecting that. You're an idiot, actually, if you don't expect. I'm going to tell you that, actually. You're an idiot if you don't expect
a Marvel movie without a single character dying.
If you walk into a Marvel movie with 10 main characters and you're like, I bet all 10 of them are going to make it out safe and sound. You're a fool. So yeah, but it's not like an Infinity War and Avengers thing. These are all characters that you're introducing for the first time. The only other occurrence that's happened is in Guardians, but that's only 5 main characters. You have 10. And unfortunately, and this is the best way I can put it, some characters are very much used more than others. Some characters are like very much secondary characters, although you still are supposed to think of them as main characters.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the characters that are used the least in this film are the best ones, are the ones I actually want to see more of. And the ones that are used the most are very much, in my opinion, the weakest.
Yeah.
With the exception of one. There's actually a child character in this film who's supposed to be like 14. She's played by a 14-year-old. She's a kid. Unlike in most Marvel movies,
really?
Yeah. But unlike in most Marvel movies that star like a kid, because like say Black Panther, which you haven't seen, but Shuri, you know Black Panther's sister, she's in Infinity War. I don't like Shuri. I don't like her. I don't think she's funny. In Black Panther, she even does a "what are those" joke. I don't think she's funny. One of her most famous lines that are supposed to be like really funny is she stands up and she's like, can we get this over with? My corset is too tight. That's iconic, really. That's one of your most iconic lines. Fucking yeah. But in this one, I actually like came out of it with this child character being one of my favourite characters from the film. And she is in it a lot, so she's like the one exception. She's quite a recurring character. But the reason why she was my favourite is because the idea of this character is that she's not a child, she just looks like a child. And because of that, I feel like they've actually gone into it.
Kind of like Invincibles.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. In a different way. A lot older.
Okay.
Like thousands of years old.
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
But that's why I think it worked better, because even though it was a child character, I actually think for once they didn't go into it trying to write for a child. It's just a character, you know. That, you know, she's not trying to be snappy and optimistic and bright. She's actually like one of the most mellow characters in the film. She does have bits and snips, but they actually work. And they're not like immature humour like a kid would use, like the Shuri's "what are those" and shit like that. It's actually like jokes, you know. And yeah, she ended up being one of my favourites. And yeah, overall, the film's plot, I think I'm not the only one who thinks this by any stretch of the imagination. I think this is a film that would have worked a lot better as one of their Disney Plus's series. I think this should have been like a 6-episode, 8-episode series. Fuck, there's 10 characters, make it 10 episodes. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care what you do. But I really do think that, because this is a plot that could work, but because of the way they've structured it, where you have to introduce all the characters, there are some flashbacks, you know, there are some things that have nothing to do with the plot, but they are still relevant to the characters. I just feel like if you had a series where you had loads of time to actually flesh these guys out, you could include subplots properly, you could delve into like there's a character who has a family, And I will talk about this because it is quite important, because it's actually a big part of the reason why this film is banned in a lot of countries. He's a gay character who has a husband and a kid. Now, when I heard that, and there's a lot of things about this film, I heard there was like it contains the MCU's first gay kiss. And I also heard, hear me out. I also heard that it contains the MCU's first sex scene. When I went into it, by the end, not only was the gay, the kiss between the husbands, not only was it like, I don't even remember it now. I couldn't tell you when it happens. It was the most normal. Fucking who the hell cares?
Yeah.
But here's the other one. The sex scene wasn't between them. It was between a male and a female. And that scene specifically is so fucking weird. Because unlike with, like, you know, him and his husband and his kids, which is like a relevant thing, this sex scene lasts for about 30 seconds. And I mean it. I mean, as a writer,
30 solid seconds.
20, 30, yeah. Obviously, it's not like full-on penetration. You don't see their tits or anything. But you know, there's frosting and, you know, their faces. And Alright, but here's the thing. And I'm telling you, as a writer, I promise you this is true. You could take this into Premiere. You could go to the very beginning of that scene. You could do a cut. Go to the very end, do a cut. You could take it out. Wouldn't change a fucking thing. Completely irrelevant. Completely fucking unnecessary. And by the end of it, I was like, wow. I don't remember the gay kiss, which is apparently so important. That sex scene sticks out like a sore fucking thumb because of how unneeded it was. It changes nothing. You get nothing from it.
Yeah.
There's not even dialogue during it.
The difference between a kiss and that, like, you know, I'm sure that there's people.
No, but that's the thing. It's between two characters who, in the scene, you see their wedding eventually. Like, you know these characters fuck. Yeah. Why do you feel the need to show it as... And again, there's no dialogue. It's just them fucking.
Yeah.
What an irrelevant little 30 seconds of my life I'm never going to get back in this movie.
That's the difference between a kiss. I'm sure there are lots of people that are saying, oh, you've just done a gay kiss because it made it banned in Saudi Arabia and countries like that. Just like, you know, because of all that, I'm sure there's loads of people that are taking that stance. But I mean, yeah, like...
But yeah, the reason I brought that up was because this is why I think it needs to be a series. Because even though he has this husband and kid, and they're supposed to mean so much to him, they've got like... I'm going to be generous. They've got like 4 minutes of screen time at most. I don't know. I don't even know if his husband was named. Like, I would have loved to have seen more of their relationship.
Do they play an important role?
They're why he's fighting. They're his motivation.
Okay.
And again, he's one of the secondary characters who are supposed to be a main character, but again, he's one of the ones I actually really enjoy. He's a really good character. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen more. Because when I say he's their motivation, there's an event that happens in the film that I won't spoil, but he kind of loses that motivation, and finding love brings it back. I would love to know why who is this guy? Who the fuck are you, random husband?
Yeah.
You've got a kid. That's great. That's cool. Why should I care?
Yeah.
Who are you? Who are you, man? Who is your family?
Yeah.
I don't care about your family just because you do. Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You know? Like imagine if in Spider-Man we don't meet Uncle Ben. The film begins with his death. I wouldn't fucking care. Yeah. Who the fuck cares? Like... Yeah.
I mean, to me it sounds like... Because I feel like it would either have been... See, here's the question. Do you think they came up with all of the ideas for this movie after they decided, right, we want to make this movie? Or did they have all of the ideas for this movie preemptively and they thought, right, let's make that movie, and they pulled all the ideas over and did it? Or like I said before, did they have the movie idea and shove all these ideas into it because they wanted to make it good?
It's essentially the first one. So the way that Marvel works is they have the idea. They have the initial idea. They know what movie they want to make. They know why they want to make it. They know what's in it. They know where it's leading to. they go around, they get directors give their own pitches for what the movie could be and how it could be. But when they come in, obviously they still have to make a lot of compromises because there's a lot of things that need to be in the film. That's why Edgar Wright left Ant-Man. He didn't want to make as many compromises. He wanted it to be an Edgar Wright film. Well, he felt they wanted it to just be a Marvel film.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix of both. So there's no way of telling whose ideas are whose, apart from the big scale ones. Like post-credit scenes. Obviously, that's the studios. Why would a director care if fucking... Why would they give a shit? I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it just sounds like they've just, like, crammed in as much stuff as they possibly could. Right, let's add a gay couple in. Right, let's have a sex scene. Right, let's bring 10 characters in. Right, let's do this, that,
there's 10
and the
characters. Alright, yeah. This isn't... I don't think any of this is a spoiler. Just describing the characters. I don't remember any of their names. I remember some of their names. I don't remember most of their names. So I'm just going to describe what they do. One of them... What the fuck does she do? She's literally the main character. I don't know what she does. No, okay, I do. I'm sorry, I've just remembered. So, yeah, the main character, number 1, can, like, matter shift. Like, you know, change things into other things. The second one, can create full-on illusions and, like, projections kind of thing. Like what Pokey does.
Yeah.
The third one is like a Superman character. He can fly and shoot laser beams. You've seen him in the trailers. 4, what the fuck does he do? He can shoot lasers from his fingers, but he does it as finger guns because he's funny and hip and cool.
It's a bit cringe.
And 5, he's like really good with tech, and I think that's his power. Like he can build tech. He understands technology to like. He basically gave humanity technology. Is the best way of putting it.
Okay.
Then there's that one, number 6, who can she's like a warrior priestess. Like, she's just a really good fighter and she has swords and shit. There's that guy who, he can, like, control minds, essentially. Mm-hmm. There's a speedster, you know, really fast person.
Yeah.
There's a fucking, who is that guy? What did he do? Who is he? Oh my god. There's a guy. So there's a guy, and the reason I can't remember is because he's one of the ones who ends up dying. Again, reveals nothing. People die in Marvel movies, guys.
Yeah.
Wake up. Get out of your fucking dream world. And then the 5th one can heal themselves and others, like, really fast. 10 characters, 10 different powers. So many of them underused. So many of them really cool. Like the Speedster, for example. That's the only example I'll give. The Speedster, barely used. Easily, without a doubt, my favourite depiction of a speedster's powers on screen. She looks fucking powerful. Like, because none of it, unlike what most of them do, which is go in slow motion, not a single scene of her is in slow motion. You see her power. And instead of it being slow motion, it's simply from her perspective. Not from her first person perspective, but it's centered on her, and you know it's the background shifting with her as the center. And man, yeah, like you feel it, like like she and she's also probably like very fast. She's faster than Quicksilver. I don't think she's faster than Flash, but she is fast. And yeah, and overall, it hurts me to say it because my review and my rating would add to the Rotten score. But yeah, unfortunately, like, as a whole, I would have to give it like a 4 out of 10. It's not the worst MCU film at all. Black Widow is worse. For the Dark World's worse. It's on the same level to me as, like, the first Thor movie. Do you remember the first Thor movie?
What happened in that?
It's the one where he's first sent to Earth and...
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
It's on the same quality level, movie making wise, to me, as that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, it's fine. I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's not great.
Yeah, it's definitely not great, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad I didn't get to see it.
When it's on Disney Plus, we'll watch it.
Yeah.
And Shang-Chi's on Disney Plus now. We should watch that.
Oh, yeah, that's actually something that I do want to watch.
Yeah.
That is actually something I do want to watch.
No, we should watch that, because that was really good. Yeah. But yeah, talking of, you know, we just talked about Eternals. that's a segue, if I've ever seen it, into Marvel topics.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have a rather big one. We got the new trailer for Spider-Man All the Homes.
Oh, yeah. Every home, baby. Every single
There's
one.
Sherlock Holmes. There's mobile homes, like caravans. There's going to be so many homes in this movie. There's almost going to be as many homes as there's going to be Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Which is 3. There will be 3 Spider-Man.
See, we hope there's going to be 3. There've been plenty of things pointing towards it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Now, I will say for the trailer, I think, and this might just be me, but I think if you watch this trailer without having seen the first trailer, you're going to be a lot more fucking confused. This trailer almost acts like a sequel.
Yeah, it is like a sequel. It's like the part 2. Part 2 of it, yeah.
Like it's one massive trailer. Yeah. My main problem with that, because there will probably be a third one, and I'm not going to, shoot my predictions for whether or not Andrew and fucking Toby are in the third one. I don't fucking know. I hope they're not, if anything. But I think the third one's going to follow this kind of concept. My main problem with that, because if you have 3 trailers at the end, and all of them, I have a problem with that many trailers anyway, but 3 trailers, all of them like forming a narrative, 3 trailers, that's going to be like what? 8-9 minutes of your actual film out there? In like a way where you could actually piece together the narrative, because you're doing it in this fucking format? Like, that seems weird to me.
It is a big movie though.
It is, but you don't, I honestly, this should totally be the last trailer. In my opinion. Like, 100% this should be the last one.
However, they didn't exactly reveal a lot more in this trailer. Like, yeah, they revealed more. But
they revealed villains. This was mainly a villain trailer.
Like, a lot of what they revealed was basically just elaborating, or not even elaborating, just like showing a little bit extra playtime of things that we'd been shown in the previous one. It doesn't necessarily reveal more or less. Like, all of the things with Doc Ock, you know, it didn't necessarily reveal anything else.
The main actual reveals we got from this trailer, the stuff this trailer that we know now that we didn't know for sure before. Which mind? That was fun. We know now that, for sure. I might as well actually just throw him in. Doc Ock's in the movie. We knew that already, but now we know more. But now we know for sure that, Willem Dafoe is indeed back as Green Goblin.
Oh, yeah,
even
baby.
in his classic Raimi suit, which, man, that's a shock. And you know why that's such a shock? Because that suit, out of all of the suits in the classic original Spider-Man trilogy, that suit gets the most shit. A lot of people think it looks like a Power Rangers outfit, and they think it looks like really campy and really dumb. I'm really fucking happy it's back. I love it. I love that suit. I love it, man. That's my childhood. I can't wait to see it again.
Like, it's the classic one.
That's the Green Goblin, And man, and not only that, because I don't think it's the exact same suit. It looks sleeker, and it looks like, it looks modernised, in my opinion, Like, it looks like a more modern version of it. But it still retains, all the classic touches that it needs,
Yeah.
So along with him, we do finally see and get confirmation that we knew this, everyone knew this. He was the one who confirmed it. But yes, Jamie Foxx is back as Electro. And he's not blue this time. Which is good.
That's good.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Because he shouldn't have been blue. That was weird. That was weird and dumb. And then we also got confirmation, and this was teased, and here's another thing of why they could be in it. These were teased in a Empire article about the film. We get the confirmation that Sandman and Lizard are in this movie. The reason why that's something is because that Empire article also names Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But it was really cool seeing them in the trailer. I'm kind of curious to how they're doing all of this. I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
but in terms of them, because even in the trailer, Doctor Strange says out loud to someone, I don't know, it's a voiceover, but he says, all these villains died fighting Spider-Man. But right there, those are 2 villains that didn't. Sandman fucking turns to sand like a sandman, almost like he's a sandman.
He's a man made out of sand, so he would turn into sand.
I thought his name was like Aaron Sandman.
No, he's an actual man made out of sand.
Man, that makes so much sense. So, you're telling me Spider-Man is a man made of spiders?
Yes, that is what I'm telling you.
Oh my god. But yeah, he just flies away at the end of Spider-Man 3. You know, he's like, I killed your uncle, do you forgive me? And Toby's like, yeah man, we're cool. We're chill. And he just flies away. And then with not Electro, with Lizard, he gets fucking cured and sent to prison. And he's in a post-credit scene at the end of number 1, and a guy in a hat comes to him and is like, you know, you failed, and, you know, Peter Parker knows more now. And he gets angry and he's like, leave Peter Parker alone. They didn't die. And not only did they not die, but those 2 villains specifically, they were like, okay with Peter by the end. And so was Doc Ock. Doc Ock died a hero, so like, who knows? But with Doc Ock specifically, we do see, apparently in the trailer, what looks like a shot of Electro fighting Doc Ock. So who knows? Maybe Doc Ock is still a good guy. Hell, we even get to see, because when he's like, you're not Peter Parker, maybe that scene leads to him like stopping fighting. Yeah. You know, maybe he was like, you know, I have no quarrels with you, and they catch him anyway.
Maybe he realises what's going on. Yeah.
Because he's a smart guy.
He is, yeah, he's a smart guy.
And I said it to you earlier, but man, I really hope we get a mention of the precious tritium. Because that was his entire goal. The only reason, the iconic train scene in Spider-Man 2, the only reason that happened is because he wanted his precious tritium. So man, I hope there's a reference to it.
Yeah.
And another thing about this, which it still blows my mind, man. This was going to be the very first time that the Green Goblin of that universe and Doc Ock, it's going to be the first time they meet. Like, man, Clash of the fucking Titans right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Obviously they're going to share the screen together in fight scenes, but I hope we get like a good couple of scenes where they do actually get to talk to each other and like bounce off each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because apparently Green Goblin is going to be like the main big bad of the film. Like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, he's the one that at the end he's going to be the last boss essentially, which I get. Yeah. He kind of should be. He's the one who started it all. Yeah. Like, yeah, he should be, 100%. Yeah.
The Green Goblin was like, even in like, especially in the animated ones.
Yeah, man. I mean, him, Doc Ock, and Venom, all 3 of those have, like, in my opinion, like, they have the tendency of they could be his nemesis. Like, with Batman, it's the Joker. With Superman, it's Lex Luthor. But with Spider-Man, you could say any of those 3 and I'd be like, yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're right. Right, he's got those 3. Yeah. Like, those are his big bads. Those are his Daleks, Cybermen, and the Master.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's gonna be a good movie, man. It's gonna be very good.
I'm looking forward to it, but talking of Daleks, Cybermen, and the Master.
Oh, that's a good segue right there.
I know! We have 2 episodes of Doctor Who Flux to talk about.
Yeah.
That's episode 2, War of the Sontarans, and episode 3, Once Upon Time. And for some reason, I don't know why, but we're going to actually talk about episode 3 first. We're not.
Yeah, let's talk about that first.
That'd be dumb and weird. No, we're going to talk about episode 2 first. What did you think? Do you need a refresher? Do you want me to quickly remind you?
Yeah, that would help. Yeah. So
they end up in the what's it called? Crimea?
Yeah, the Crimean War.
Crimea War, yeah. And then we just watched it.
Mrs. S-C-H.
Solclair.
I can tell you. Because I have it on my phone. Because I actually Googled it because it was familiar. Mrs. Seacole.
That's it. What's her first name?
Mary Seacole.
That's it. They meet Mary Seacole, and she reveals that they are currently at war with the Sontarans.
And I was happy about something specifically, which I mentioned while we watched this.
Yeah.
That they cast her well.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to cast historical people accurately, right? And this, like you know, at first I saw this and I was like, oh god, it's not going to be another... What was the thing that I mentioned?
You mentioned Anne Boleyn.
Yeah.
Which, I don't want to get too much into that, because, honestly, that could be an entire episode of how weird that is.
Yeah.
And I could give so many examples of how we've done that. Like, you know, how white people have, what's the word? Whitewashed. Yeah, they've whitewashed African American culture. Terrible thing we've done. It is. We shouldn't do that. You shouldn't either, because it's bad, and that's why we shouldn't have done that.
It's not
because
just,
it's a bad thing
yeah,
to do.
It's not just that whitewashing is bad. It's that not representing a historical figure the way that they were is bad. You know, represent them the way that they were, especially if it's a historical figure, because it's important to some people. You know,
and again, I think the only example I can really give, it's because in my mind, if they did this, because he's the only actor I think anyone, if this was going to happen, he's the only actor who could do it. Imagine if they cast Anthony Hitchcock. Is that his name? Anthony Hitchcock, the one who, Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Imagine if they cast him to play Nelson Mandela. You know?
Yeah.
There would be
outrage.
Riots in the
outrage.
fucking street.
Yeah. Yeah, there'd be outrage over that. But I was happy to see that, they'd cast her appropriately. Because, it was a British-Jamaican nurse. Oh my god! It was a British Jamaican nurse at the time, and I was happy with that. Yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah, good for them to be appropriately casting people. That's good.
And then as she's leading them to her little sanctuary, the British Hotel is what she calls it. Dan and Yaz fucking blip away. They fade away, and she's like, "I'll find you. I'll find you." Yeah. Dan ends up going back home to Liverpool 2 days after he left, and his house is gone because it's small now. And he tries to knock on his neighbour's windows, and the neighbours are like, "Piss off, go away." And then a fucking, squad of Sontarans spot him and start chasing him.
Yeah.
And some old couple,
bash them on the head.
On the pubic bend, on the head. The head wouldn't do nothing. They just turn around and be like, "What did you do, bitch?" Bang, and kill her.
Yeah.
But and he's like, "Mum? Dad?" And they're like, "Where have you been?" I have so many questions. And I'm going to put a pin in that one and bring it up later. Because there's a bit later where I want to talk about that. That's more relevant. Yaz's side of it is that she ends up at the temple of, I think it's Aphapados or something like that. Aphapados.
I can't remember.
On the planet Time.
Yeah.
Where she and the character Vinda, do you remember Vinda? We talked about him in the first one. Catch up. Vinda, that guy, remember him?
Yeah.
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 So him, she and Vinda, and there's a little cube triangle thing that's like, "You must repair. Can you repair? Please repair. Fucking repair, for the love of God.
Repair."
Oh, no, she also bumps into Mole Man. The Victorian Liverpoolian.
Yes,
and,
just briefly.
Yeah,
and he goes away.
No, but I like the scene because she asks him what year it is, and he's like, "Do you believe it to be of import?" And she's like, "It could be." And he's like, "It's 1803, of course. Do you beg it differ?" Because they talk like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I very much do." He's the only one. I can't think of a single other character in every other character in Doctor Who. I said this while it was on. Every other character would be like, "What year is it? What, are you drunk?
However,
it's 2014."
To be
or
fair,
whatever,
he is currently inside a futuristic place, so I'm sure he was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
No, but at the same time, he seemed comfortable with it. If you remember,
yeah, he did.
He didn't seem confused.
I think he's just a wise, philosophical man.
I think he's a man. Ooh, you know what? Fan theory from a fan.
Oh,
he accidentally creates the Flux.
Maybe.
Fan theory.
Yeah,
putting it out there.
Maybe it was him.
Putting it out.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see soon if that's true.
But yeah, and while that's happening, the Doctor's dealing with the Sontaran shit. And piss and cum. Yeah. Because they're getting everywhere.
But also, I liked the intro where the Sontarans appeared. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. I like the Sontarans in this. It's great. It's good to see them. Yeah.
And that's the thing, because they were still funny in this, but they were a lot more natural than Strax. Yeah. Like, it's a Sontaran being like, "Look, there's some human scum ready to be eradicated." It's so much funnier than a Sontaran being like, "Your name is Thomas. Can you get me to where I need to go, Thomas?" Yeah. Like, the comedy flowed so much more naturally from them.
Yeah.
And eventually she manages to, you know, convince one of them that she's not the Doctor, but she knows where he is. Which I actually really like that. Because they haven't done that yet with this Doctor. Because, like, the Sontarans would definitely automatically assume it's a bloke.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what it was. There's not a single female Sontaran.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I actually really like them using, like, you know, the character like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and, you know, eventually she leaves Mary Seeker when she's like, right here and fucking record everything they do. And she goes to parley with them. Meanwhile, Dan and his parents are sneaking into Sontaran ship. And Dan's dad gives, and Dan is like, oh man, look at the ships, in his scouts, we got to get in there.
Yeah.
You know? And the dad's like, are you crazy? We can't go in there. We're not going in there. And they give him the walk and he's like, I'm going to go in alone. And I'm going to get video for the Doctor. And the parents are like, good luck, son. And he runs off into the thing.
Yeah.
Alright, here's where I'm going to bring up that point from earlier.
Yeah.
This guy, okay, Dan. I like you, Dan. I actually do. I think you're fun. Here's the thing. So far, the only things what you've done in this show so far has been get caught by the dog man.
Yeah.
Get freed from the dog man. End up in the Crimea War and instantly get taken home.
Yeah.
How are you already a full-fledged companion? How have you already got the full mindset of someone who's been with the Doctor for 10 years? Yeah. How are you instantly just like, I've got to get in there and get videos for the Doctor? You've known her for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, I didn't think of that, yeah.
And not only that, but his parents. How the fuck? What? Did his parents work for UNIT?
Well, see,
what were they doing out there?
How did they know how to hit the probing vent?
But not only that, one, how did they know about the probing vent? Two, how did they know he was there? What were they doing there? Were they just wandering the streets for 2 days being like, Dan!
Where is
Dan! Like, what were they fucking doing there?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, the fact. I thought that was the laziest introduction to a parent I've ever seen. Like, imagine if we'd never met Jackie, and then instead... Is there a knock just then? Oh. Imagine if we'd never met Jackie and instead her first introduction was like, I don't know, in the middle of like the Slovene episode and she just fucking, you know, she just does that.
Yeah.
Like, she just comes in, kills a Slovene and is like, Rose! And Rose is like, Mum? Like, no, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
And Dan runs in there like again like some like fucking Clara would have, who'd been with the Doctor for fucking 2.5 years, and he's got his video in his fucking wok and he's going around recording shit, you know.
Yeah. We
go back to Yaz. She meets up with Vinda and the Swarm people come, the Ravagers.
Yeah.
Swarm and Azul, who finally gets named in this episode.
Yeah.
Because last episode they named her in the credits. Not on screen, so I just called her Girl Swarm. But no, she is called Azul. How funny would it be if they don't name her, and then in the last episode, at the end, towards the end, she was just like, my name is Azul!
By
the way, Doctor! But, no, and, yeah, they get there, and they do some exposition, and they reveal, like, yeah, the planet Time, there's Maury, they guide the flow of time, 2 of them are broken, and fuck them, essentially. They don't like them already.
Yeah.
And they're also, like, really threatening, and they're getting in Yaz's biznatch, and he's grabbing her and being like, you're pathetic. And fucking, there is that bit of a cringe scene where he's shooting them a bunch of times, and they just keep teleporting away. Like, come on, man. Shoot them 3 times.
And then you get it.
I'm not talking to Vinda. Yeah, I'm talking to Chris.
Yeah.
Shoot, do 3 shots.
And then understand what's going on.
2 on the guy, and then when she's like, do 1 on her, and then have Yaz run over and be like, it's not gonna work. Don't do like 30 fucking shots.
And then she runs over and be like, it's not working.
like what, you couldn't tell? Like, man, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, returning to the Doctor. And yeah, he doesn't hurt them or anything, but I think at that point, actually, to be fair, he kills one of the Moray, and Yaz is like, no, don't, you don't know what you're doing. I actually have a thing with that line.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you...
But I picked up on that immediately. I was like,
you don't know what you're doing.
What are you talking about?
You have no idea what's going on here, Yaz. Like, Like, honestly, it would have actually, because he
the
does...
omnipotent, powerful being has no idea what they're doing.
The line he says is good. He turns around and is like, I'll deal with you soon, or whatever. It's a fine line. But it would have been so funny if he just turned around and was like, you don't know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing.
I am in charge here. Who are you?
I did this years ago. Like, I thought that line, it was like, wow, you have no... It was a real line, it was like, wow, you have no power here, you know? But yeah, we return to the Doctor. She tries to parlay with the Sontarans. And to be fair, in the end, she didn't even need to do the ruse, really. Because, like, they get there and they're like, where is the Doctor? And she's instantly just like, you're looking at her. Like... You could have come up with anything. You could have actually come up with anything. Like, well, just she brings them over with like a blare, like a beacon. And when they hear the beacon, the Sontaran's like, parlay. You didn't even need the ruse. Just sound the beacon.
Yeah.
You know? Just sound it. And they would have been, even if they didn't instantly think parlay, they would have heard the beacon and been like, what's that?
Yeah.
And gone over to check it out. You know, like, yeah, I mean, but yeah, either way, I still, it was a cool concept, but where she has a conversation with the Grand Sontaran, and he does have a really good line in it where she's like, you know, why here? And he's like, you know, this was an easy target. And also, I wanted to ride a horse. Which, yeah, I dig it. Fuck yeah. You ride your horse, Sontaran. You look good doing it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the fucking British commander, who was at the British hotel, who I forgot to mention earlier because he wasn't important to the plot yet, really. He comes in and fucking holds a gun to the Doctor's head and is like, you don't speak for us, we will fight. And the Doctor's like, you're a fool. You're an idiot. And he's like, speak once more and I'll execute you. And the Sontaran's like, ha ha.
That's literally exactly what the Sontaran does.
He's like, ha ha. And the Doctor, she's dragged away, and the Sontaran goes, I accept your offer of a massacre. And here's one thing I thought was weird about that, because he says that, and then the camera pans up, and there is like, I'm going to do a rough estimate and say there are about 4,000 Sontarans behind him. Yeah. There's so fucking many. And then the British commander goes, yeah, and the camera pans up and we see, like, I'll be generous, like 1,500 British soldiers. So there was definitely less soldiers than Sontarans.
Yeah.
Where the fuck? How did they get there? How did no one hear the 4,000 Sontarans or the 1,000? What? The camera pans up. They're not like far off. And some of them are because there's so many. They're
basically already there, prepared for the battle.
Like they're already there. Like, what? You didn't notice that? You didn't notice that they came with 4,000 Sontarans? You didn't hear the 1,500 British soldiers storming up the fucking hill? Like, how were you surprised? And then the battle takes place immediately. That's what surprised me about it, because I thought it was going to be like, we agreed to your thing, meet us here in an hour.
And then they go back and
but instead it happens immediately, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Rushed. But yeah, she gets back to Mary Seacole, and she's like, shit's hit the fan, Mary. And they go into the ship. Dan's also in the ship. He's fucking breaking his way through Sontarans, mate.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this guy worked for Torchwood. Yeah, he's a fucking gangster, mate.
Yeah.
He gets in, and he's activated. Yeah, it's a bit dumb. I say, yeah, it's a bit dumb. Because he just sees a random panel and he's like, is it wrong if I click buttons? I hope nothing explodes. And that somehow brings up a video link to what should be like, when was the crime? This is like hundreds of years ago.
Mm.
And somehow he activates it, and the Doctor's there just at that moment.
Yeah.
Even though it's 400 years ago.
Yeah.
And they managed to have this conversation.
Yeah.
And also the very beginning of the conversation. And again, Chibnall, man, you're repeating yourself too much. Because they do, like, they're speaking at the same time, and they're like, where are you? I'm here. Where's Yads? You go first. No, you. Chibnall, do it twice.
Yeah.
Do it twice.
Not that many times.
What I said there, that wasn't all of them. There were like 6 of these before finally they start.
Yeah.
Do it twice. You're doing it too much. They have their quick conversation, where the Doctor figures out, like, yeah, they're going to invade Earth through time and, you know, take it over from the Dawn and all that sort of stuff. Another Sontaran figures out they're doing it, you know, he comes in to get Dan. And Dan actually, he does do a funny bit here. Because when the Sontaran walks in, he goes, "Oh, you're right, mate. I was trying to make my way to Long Pier. You know where it is?" And he's trying to do like a facade. Eventually it breaks down and, you know, he hits the Sontaran and he gives some insults. But then when that group of Sontarans walks in, he instantly goes, "Oh, you're right, guys. I'm trying to make my way to Long Pier." I did think that was really funny. Like, he was just going to instantly try the ruse again with all of them. Like, he was going to hit them all with the ruse, you know? But yeah, and instead, they capture him, and it's Dogman who has to save him. It's Calvinista.
Yeah.
And...
what is it, Lupin?
He's a Lupari.
Yeah, Lupari, that's it, yeah.
And fucking Lupari comes in and saves him, Calvinista. They're about to escape through an escape pod because he sets the ship to fucking crash into the other ones and cause a temporal explosion that's going to wipe all of them out all around the world, which makes no sense. Why would this very localised explosion in Liverpool cause an explosion so big it's going to wipe out all of them around the world at once?
It wasn't just an explosion, brother.
It's a temporal explosion.
explosion.
Oh my
that
God.
makes it special.
It's honestly, I apologise for my misgivings.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You should just know it's a special kind of explosion that meant that could happen.
It's true.
Yeah.
So they fucking instead have to get out of like a waste storage event, whatever it is. It's like a
Oh, that's so.
It was dumb because he shoots it out, and here's the actual other thing about that, because he shoots it out, and it's like a perfect tunnel to the outside. It's a perfect, like, they slide down it. Dan's screaming, he's going woo, and they come out. How is that for waste? That apparently is a single straight tunnel that connects to the wall and nothing else.
Yeah.
What waste is getting thrown out through that? Unless they meant like...
unless there's like other pipes that
no, because, okay, actually no, I think I've just answered it in my head. They didn't mean waste as in like poo, I think. I think they meant it as like
rubbish.
A bin.
Right,
yeah, rubbish.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, it was a hatch they could have opened if they really tried, but instead he just shoots it. And they just, instead of putting it in a bin and destroying it, they just chuck it out of the spaceship, and it just fucking goes into the sea. I could see him doing that, to be fair. I think that might have been it. At the same time, yeah, I thought it meant toilet. I thought it meant like their toilet.
Yeah.
But yeah, while this is happening, the Doctor's dealing with the Sontarans by uniting the surviving British force and using Mary Seacole's, notes. She figures out when they have to go back to their ship to refuel, on gas, technically, because that's what they eat and sleep and breathe and drink and come in.
Yeah.
They go back to, but they've only got like a 7.5 minute window and they have to do it quick. So she goes there while they're doing it. They go around fucking depleting all the supplies by disconnecting pipes. So Sontarans come out and they're like, you bitch. They don't say that, but they could have. And she's like, you better retreat. And he goes, I never retreat. We will make a strategic withdrawal. and yeah, he threatens that they'll return, and she's like, no, you won't. Whatever. And as they're leaving, the British commander, who, by the way, I might not have mentioned this yet, but he's actually a massive dickhead. He's been a dickhead throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
He's a coward.
Yeah.
He fucking sets it to explode and destroys them all.
How?
Dynamite, I guess?
But where? Why did they just casually have piles of dynamite on all the spaceships? The cable went to a giant pile of it, which was separated from all the ships.
It's true.
And it exploded the pile of dynamite. And then all of the ships just exploded
The
as well.
only thing I can say about it, because before then, he does mention, it is said that he doesn't know where they're hidden. Because they have got that, like, force field thing. That perception filter. Because of that, there's no reason to assume that they actually did just have that dynamite. And if they had known where it was, they would have just done that anyway. Because they didn't know where it was. So I suppose that it kind of, in a way, can make sense. Maybe they did have that dynamite. They were waiting to use it.
Yeah, but I just don't understand how it blew up all the ships. Because it wasn't like... My
understanding of it, because the way he managed to get it there, that was a bit weird. But I thought it was because they disconnected, like, those pipes. He'd, like, put it straight into the ship. And into that, like, gas. And the fuel.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's not that explained, but, yeah, all the Sontarans are exploded. And she's like, man, you shouldn't have done that. 'Cause in the end, he shouldn't have. They were retreating.
Yeah.
You know?
And he was just like, I'd do it for the men that died.
Even though you caused the deaths. And then, you know how he didn't die? Because he pretended to be dead like a little pussy.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Colonel. The Sontarans are dead. The TARDIS returns. It finally grows back its door because it was missing its door because spoiler alert, the TARDIS is getting fucked up this season. Maybe it's pregnant.
It's getting really fucked up. It's got cobwebs and black goo. Yeah. and then
imagine if that was it. Imagine if it turned out it was pregnant and like it
gave birth to a baby TARDIS.
That'd be cool. We could have a spin-off of the baby.
Just a mini TARDIS.
We could have a spin-off of Baby TARDIS going on adventures.
That'd be funny.
But fucking it ends with them. She finds Dan. Carvinist is just like, yeah, we'll protect, the planet. She takes Dan. They find Yaz. They walk in and Swarm and Uracell. What did I say it was?
Azul,
that's it. They're like, oh, we've been expecting you, Doctor. This is the planet of time. There is no planet of time, so you think, ha ha ha. Which is true. I mean, in the real world, it's true. There is no planet of time. Yeah. But
it's not historically accurate.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
0 out of 10.
Yeah.
But it turns out that they've replaced the two Maury that die with Yaz and Vinda. And as Azul begins counting down from 5, the Doctor's like, what are you doing? And Swarm's like, I'm going to click my fingers, Thanos style. He even says Thanos style.
Yeah.
Clearly he's watched Infinity War and Endgame. But he's like, I'm going to click my fingers, Thanos style, and once I've finished my click, the full force of time is going to run through them, and their bodies probably won't last long. And she's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, all in good time, Doctor. And the countdown ends. Cut to credits. Yeah. Good cliffhanger, I felt.
Yeah.
Cool cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It's slightly retconned in the next episode. I'll explain that. But, cool cliffhanger. Overall, what do you think? What do you think of War of the Sontarans?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah!
I enjoyed it.
What would you rate it out of 10?
I'd give it a 6.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Solid 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually think it's times like this I feel sad I don't go with halves. Because I think it's closer to a 7 than it is a 5. But it's not enough of a 7 to be a 7. If I did halves, I'd put it at 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
But I am, with this case, going to round it down. So yeah, I'd say a 6. But I do think it is a strong 6. I thought this was like a really good episode.
Yeah.
And again, Jodie was at her most doctory, Like, the scripts and the way that she's really honed it. She's really found the Doctor that works for her. Like, I've been really enjoying her performances in this series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you? As someone who hasn't seen that much?
I have enjoyed it a bit. Like, yeah. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I've enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Yeah. Obviously, part of me always thinks, wow, this would be so much better with David Tennant. Yeah. But everything would be better with David Tennant. That's the thing.
It's true. Even David Tennant's episode that he already has, it'd be better if everyone else in the episode was played by David Tennant.
Yeah, just loads of David Tennants. Yeah.
Like in that episode where the Master makes loads of Masters, just that, but with David Tennant. And not the Doctor, the actor David Tennant. So the Doctor's running around like, who are you? And it's David Tennant being Scottish, being like, who are you? Like, what's going on? I'm just David. Yeah. That's what would be credited. I'm just David.
Just David.
I'm just David, man, is what he would say. Yeah.
I did think the villains as the other dude and then the old one, I thought they were all really well cast.
The old one?
Yeah, the older one's like in the next episode though. It's not in this one.
Oh, right, well, let's not talk about that. We're staying with episode 2.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
What do you think of the Sontarans?
I enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah?
You look
disgusting. That wasn't the first time, but that was good.
I liked them. I thought they were really good. I really enjoyed them. And they were like, humans that want to be obliterated.
No, they are, sometimes
Yeah,
they are one of the funnest villains. And that's another thing, because while they are like iconic Classic Who villains, in the entirety of Classic Who, they only have 4 stories. That's not much, especially for Classic Who. Hell, I could name like the fucking Patrick Troughton faced the Cybermen 4 times alone, just his Doctor. So yeah, four stories throughout the entire era. All of them go from various degrees of shit. I said that wrong. Not all of them are shit, is not what I mean. I mean, it starts off really good. The first 2 are really good, and the last 2 are really shit. The last one in particular, unfortunately, they shouldn't be in it. It would actually be a better story if it was anyone else really except for Sontarans. That's how strongly I feel about that last story in Classic Who.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that because again in New Who they went misguided because they had one appearance where they were villains, and then it was just Strax the funny potato man for a fucking few seasons. I'm glad they're going back to their roots and they're making them an actual, not just, a threat, because Sontarans have always been like that. Because they're a parody of ultra militarists, and the same way that Daleks are technically parodies of Nazis. So yeah, with that heightened thing, that entire shit, humans who want to be eradicated. Imagine soldiers like that. Imagine if American soldiers are like, oh look, so a Iraqi wants to be eradicated. The idea of it is ludicrous. If someone like that was in real, but that's how they operate. That's their normal.
Yeah.
The Sontarans would rather die in battle, because to survive is disgusting to them. I mean, it's shame.
It's shameful.
Imagine if you met a soldier in battle in real life who was like, man, I hope I die here. Imagine going home after this knowing that you didn't die for your country.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Jesus fucking Christ, guy. Wow, that's deep, you know? But yeah, really enjoyed them.
Yeah. I enjoyed them a lot. Yeah.
So then we have episode 3, Once Upon a Time. We start off with who else? Who else would we start off with, Hector? But Belle, and Belle's story, with her lovely font, which you couldn't stop commenting on, because you hated that font.
I really hated the font.
Do you know what font it was? Why do you hate it?
It looked like
so
the
much?
Impact font.
That's what you thought it was, wow.
It looked like the Impact font.
It's not that.
I know specifically what.
Yeah, it wasn't specifically Impact.
I know specifically it wasn't the Impact.
Well, that's what I'm letting you know, yeah, it wasn't specifically the Impact
I
font.
know my fonts. Are you trying to insinuate?
Well, if you know your font, why can't you name this font?
Well, I said it looked like the Impact font.
Yeah, but it's not the Impact font.
There's
That's like me saying you look like a bloke I know called Greg.
Okay, well there's
You don't know Greg.
There's 420,000 published different fonts. There's an inconceivably huge number of fonts.
I would put to you, sir, that there are possibly as many Gregs in the world as there are fonts. Living and dead.
Oh. Are there more than 400,000 Gregs in the world? If there are, then you're right. If not, then you're wrong.
It includes variations like Gregory, Gregora, George. Are you Googling it?
Yeah.
Are you Googling how many Gregs are in the world?
How many people named Greg
in the world?
In the world. Greg. First name statistics. The first name statistics. Population 320,000. There's more fonts than Greg's.
No, but again, living or dead.
Oh, living or dead? Well, that doesn't count.
Yeah, it does. Hey, dead people still are people. What do you mean it doesn't count? Deactivated fonts are still fonts.
Okay, it doesn't say that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I reckon if you take all the Gregs that have ever existed, it would be more than fonts.
It would definitely be more than fonts, because fonts have only been a thing that have existed fairly recently. Gregs have existed for quite a long time.
Gregs are almost infinite.
But yeah, no, like, I hated that font. I thought it was really crap. I didn't think it suited, like, it didn't match any of the other fucking fonts that they used.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so out of place and shit, and it just really annoyed me for some reason throughout. Every time they kept flashing that shitty font, like they were really proud of it and liked it. That was what annoyed me the most. Like, sure, if they just did it once at the start, I would have been like, I don't really like that font. That's fine. We move on from it. But it was the fact that they kept using it over and over again.
Could you imagine if this episode for some reason begun with like an opening crawl like Star Wars and recapping the events of
honestly,
Flux?
I feel like they would have enjoyed doing that. The amount they enjoyed fucking flashing that font anyway.
They would have loved doing that. Though I'm surprised they didn't. They should just do that for all
They
of them.
flashed that font more than a stripper flashes her.
You spilled beer on my carpet.
Yes.
Have you disgraced my land
I
once
have
more?
disgraced your land and my phone.
Man, your phone is the phone of an alcoholics. But yeah, getting back into the episode. So we start with Belle. She's doing her own thing. She goes past some Daleks or some shit.
Do you want to like do something about that?
How much is that? Oh, fuck, Hector. You idiot.
It's not loads, but like that, it's there. Like, you know, I should. Yeah. Okay. Let me just.
Suck it out.
I'm gonna suck it out of your carpet.
Suck it out.
When was the last time you hoovered this carpet?
Last Thanksgiving.
Okay, I'm not sucking it out.
Has it already been Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Then yeah, last Thanksgiving.
So like a year ago.
No, I mean this Thanksgiving. When's this Thanksgiving? This year.
Wait, you're doing it in the future.
So it's not been Thanksgiving yet.
Oh wait, this year.
This Thanksgiving, this year.
Is it at the start of the year?
No.
I feel like it.
I'm pretty sure it's in like...
New Year.
Sure. No. Thanksgiving, are you fucking joking? No, it's like, it's between Halloween and Christmas. I don't know.
Well then no, it hasn't happened. If it is like a New Year's type of thing, then yes, obviously
Again,
it's happened.
it's not.
Okay, it's not, then it hasn't happened yet. So that means it happened last year.
In that case, what I meant to say was, yeah, like last week.
Okay, so basically last year. Okay. I'm not sucking out of your carpet.
Okay, for real, it wasn't last year. If I remember correctly, actual answer, it was last month.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Okay. I'm still not sucking it out of your carpet.
What if I was to pour the beer onto my feet, including socks, and you sucked it out of my socks and feet?
Why would I want
It's fetish shit, man. Come on.
Okay,
Don't kink shame me.
That is unrelated to this situation.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
You're just using this situation as leverage to get me to do something completely unrelated.
Hey man, I wouldn't enjoy it.
Okay. Well then that's the easy solution.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one would win if we did it as show. So yeah, back to the episode. I'm actually going to go through all of Belle's stuff now, because it has nothing to do with the main plot. Belle's going around doing shit. She fights some Daleks. No, she hides from some Daleks. Yeah. She fights some Cybermen. She has a little...
She destroys those Cybermen.
She wrecks those Cybermen like those Cybermen were punk-ass bitches. Man, oh man. Honestly, because here's the thing. Here's what you might have forgotten about the Cybermen. The Cybermen are supposed to be, obviously not the most, but one of the most formidable species in the galaxy. How the fuck did
she took out so many of them? She
wiped, there was 7 to 9 of them. I should have just said 8.
Yeah.
There's 8 of them.
Solid start.
There's 8 of them.
Yeah.
And fucking, yeah, she just takes them all out. Man, how? You've got 2 guns, and then halfway through one of those guns stop working, and you're left with 1 gun. There are 9 of them. All of them have guns embedded into their fucking wrists. And
they're in suits of armour.
Exactly, and all of them are... These are Cybermen!
Yeah.
You took them out like they were no ones.
What kind of weapon is that? Because that was a powerful weapon.
She took them out like they were Sontarans standing with their backs facing towards her. And she just aimed for all of their private vents.
Yeah.
You know, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then after she does that, she goes to some more planets and does some more shit. And then at the end, she's sat down at a campfire. And I'm going to leave it there for now. Because that's it. That's all she really does. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Going back to the main plot. The Doctor, to resolve the cliffhanger of the last episode, has decided the best thing to do is to jump into the places with the Morve, drag Dan in there with him to keep him safe. And, just deal with it that way, whatever happens. Here's why that retcons the last one. Because in the last one, in the cliffhanger, you clearly see she's standing right next to him as he clicks.
Yeah.
It ends on the click.
Yeah.
In this episode, she runs and grabs Dan and pushes him in and stands into it. And then you hear the click.
Yeah.
She didn't do that. She was stood right there, man. I saw her. Chris, I saw her. She was stood right there.
What are you doing, Chris?
You're not going to convince me that what I didn't see in the last cliffhanger was right before he clicked and did in fact click, she actually ran off fucking screen and did the fucking conclusion.
Yeah.
You're not going to convince me that happened, Chris.
Yeah.
No. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It broke my immersion, let's just say. And honestly, I actually think this is almost... Yeah, in a way, it's a lot harder to talk about because it's four. Let's just go like that. It's 4 separate stories. Let's talk about all of them at the same time. Sorry, not at the same time, but one after another, even because they're shown all at the same time.
Yeah.
But if we talk about them like that, it's going to get really confusing.
Yeah.
So let's just start with the easiest one first. Dan's story. He meets up with his one-armed girlfriend. I don't know her name. I think it's Diane.
That sounds familiar, but I feel like that sounds familiar.
Dana?
Related.
I think it is another name beginning with D. I think it has a D.
Yeah.
I think it is Diane. I'm going to call her Diane because I believe I'm correct. And if I believe I'm correct, guess what? The universe believes it so because I am the god. That's a brilliant joke.
100% going to turn out she's not named Diane.
Oh, you know what? I might quickly Google it. Just find out, Craig.
If it is, you can't cut it.
No, yeah, that's true, man. But if it is, that raises the question, have I just got a good memory or am I actually a god now?
Yeah.
I didn't...
Is her name Diane?
I'm Googling it now. Give me a minute, Hector. Just a minute. It is Diane.
It is Diane.
Yep.
It is. Okay.
I am a god amongst men.
Okay.
And you will obey me.
Okay. Well, that's okay, right. So she's called Diane.
Yeah, we've established this now. And I don't have to keep calling her the one-armed lady.
Well, I'm going to remember her as the one-armed lady.
Honestly, unfortunately, it's her most... it is her most distinctive quality so far because her character hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he meets up with her and they begin flashing in and out of time and he's like, this ain't right, what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And eventually the Doctor puts him in, a beautiful pond or whatever and is like, stay here. That's really it. That's Dan's story. We don't get much from that. And the second one, I'm going to go from the ones that have the most impact. The second one would be Rinder. We just find out his backstory in general. He worked for a guy called the Grand Serpent.
Yeah.
Who had a great quote.
Is an arsehole.
He was a complete wanker.
Yeah.
And in his very opening scene, Rinder's... he's like, I'm going to do a deal and this is the deal. And Rinder's just like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll see how that works. And the guy, there's a big long dramatic pause as the guy slowly looks to him and is like, what did you just say? I remember you burst out laughing with that because it's played really seriously because this guy is just a massive tool.
Yeah.
And then he comes in and one of my favorite, the best quote because he's like, oh, I'm glad you understand. Or do you think you know, huh? And then he just goes, do you want to be me? Which I thought was amazing.
What the fuck are you talking about, guy?
Dude, if I was in public and I heard someone in an argument go, do you want to be me? I would burst out fucking laughing so hard. Because, Matt, because that has 2 options. Either A, this person's completely full of themselves like this person is.
Yeah.
Or B, the person they're talking to is a weird guy who's clearly doing some shit.
He wants to be him.
Yeah, because you don't just accuse someone of wanting to be you. Unless you're a narcissist or they're genuinely trying, Yeah. But and he's there to record the meetings. A meeting happens and the Grand Serpent's like, I want you to end the meeting now. But he's still got stuff to say. And, Vinder's like, I don't know if I want to do that. And he's like, did you hear me? Prick and
boy,
dick, and he shuts off the recording, and then he's like, there are 9 people. 5 of them I want brought here. They need to be put to justice. The other 4, they need to have unfortunate accidents. I don't care how, don't care why, but they need to die. At which point Vinder's like, man, I'm not okay with this. I don't like this. So he's
a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Vinder. So he reports him, and obviously because the Grand Serpent, he's the fucking Grand Serpent, mate. You've never heard, Hector, of the Grand Serpent?
I haven't
This
heard of
guy
the Grand Serpent.
has been in Doctor Who lore since before the Doctor. He was actually the first character on screen in Doctor Who.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. He was the first...
Wait, are you being serious?
Of course I'm not being fucking serious. Jesus Christ. The next joke was going to be, he was the first one to pilot a TARDIS. In fact, he gifted it to the Doctor. But no, he's just a prick.
Yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately, he discovers the report because all the reports go through him because he's the Grand Serpent bitch. And yeah, that's how we find out that Vinder was in the middle of nowhere at the beginning because he's been sent there as a punishment for trying to be a good man.
Yeah.
Alright, then we get to Yaz's. Yaz's is really incoherent. Like, there's no story to hers. It's just shit happening. She's in a fucking, she's training to be a cop and she's got a fellow cop with her.
Yeah.
And she sees some angels. Oh, I guess that's her story. Angels are corrupting her time stream. And then she's like playing not Call of Duty.
Playing a video game.
Yeah. No one calls them video games.
No one. What? Really?
Really? Wow. As a 21-year-old person who plays games, I had no idea people didn't call them video games.
What do you call them then?
That's so... You know what? That's weird, because I hear people refer to them all the time. I'm going to have to tell them, guys! Guys!
You don't call them video games.
Chris Chibnall has proclaimed that we don't call them video games. Chris, genuine question, bud. What do you call them? Do you call them apps?
Just games.
Just get console games, specifically?
Console games. PC games.
What else? I thought that line was just so forced in. Because I know what the line's trying to do. It's trying to show you, like, yeah, the sister's snarky and she's got something back, something to comment about everything.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest one for sure. Because at that point, she honestly, it wouldn't have been out of the question if Yaz had paused the game, turned to her and been like, what?
What the fuck are you talking about?
The example,
she's the female version of the Grand Serpent.
When it happened, I turned to you and was like, Hector, we don't call this a TV show. Okay, no one calls them that. What the fuck? It's what they're called.
Yeah.
But yeah, angels are corrupting, they come in and try and, they get her, but the game she smashes the console and stops it. And yeah, and I think she's just like chilling until the end then, after that.
But I remember it being revealed that that's not how it works.
In what way?
Like, you couldn't just, like, turn off the TV.
Well, no, that's the thing. So, the way it works is that the image of an angel becomes an angel. So that's why when they paused it and tried to exit the game, it wasn't working. But...
Like, I remember before they'd, like, unplug the TV and it would still be on and it would still be there. Whereas,
no. So the only time this has happened before was with Amy, with Matt, with the 11th Doctor. But when that happened, there was no TV to unplug. It was built into the wall, and she was simply trying to turn it off with the remote.
Right. Yeah.
And she couldn't do it because the angel was there. And then the way she beats it is because it was a continuous loop of a clip. And there was a glitch, the static, and she had to do it on the static, because then the angel's image was corrupted and it could stop. So, theoretically, yeah, it kind of works. Like, if the TV could have been unplugged, she could have unplugged it, and maybe it would have worked. In this one, and to be fair, she doesn't just unplug it, she destroys the game console.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it could work, who knows? I mean, I guess actually no, it does. I mean, it has to work. It happened.
It worked.
You can't talk about canon and be like, it could work. I guess it has, unfortunately. It worked.
Yeah.
Whether it should have or not, doesn't matter. It did.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work. But yeah, and then finally we get the Doctors, and the Doctors is honestly the only one that really matters at all. because this is all Timeless Children arc stuff. This is her when she was the Fugitive Doctor, who, yeah, I realised when she popped up that you've never seen her before. What did you think of that little... I mean, you barely saw her in this episode. What did you think of that little doctor? The one in the reflection.
Yeah, it was cool, I guess. Yeah.
So yeah, her doctor is supposed to be pre-Hartnell, and one of the many doctors before pre-Hartnell. And yeah, she's a doctor who works for the division. It makes no sense. The main reason it doesn't make sense though, and Chibs, I know you're listening, pal, you really fucked up here. Okay? It makes no sense, because when we first meet her, we find her TARDIS, and her TARDIS is the police box. That makes no sense, because we know why the TARDIS is a police box. The TARDIS is a police box because William Hartnell specifically landed the TARDIS in a fucking, in a what's it called, a dump in 1963 Trotter's Lane. And it turned into the police box then. It wasn't a police box before he landed there, and the chameleon circuit broke and it was stuck there like that ever since. It makes no sense for a pre-Hartnell Doctor to still have that police box. The only explanation at that point could be, it has to be after Hartnell. But they're saying it's not. Now, there is only one place after that where you could fit it in, and it would still make sense. And that's what they call Season 6B. Now, this is a real proper fan theory that's like, I subscribe to it. I think it's really good. So, the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton, yeah, let me give some context. So he leaves, and his companions leave too. And when his companions leave, he doesn't know what happens to them, but they get their memories wiped and they return to their own time. And the reason why we know he doesn't know what happens to them is because before that happens to them, he regenerates into the third Doctor. He gets, discarded into Earth and regenerates. In an anniversary special a couple of years later, he sees projections, fake versions of Jamie and Zoe, the companions. And he says to them, you guys had your memories wiped by the Time Lords. But he shouldn't have ever known that. And then he returns again later in a different, not even a special, just like an episode to be fair. But he returns later, and when he returns later, he is very noticeably older. Which happens, obviously, but, canonically, why would he be so much older? So the fan theory for it is that, because when we see him regenerate into the third Doctor, we never actually see it. He's going into a black void, he gets smaller and smaller, and then it cuts to the TARDIS in colour on Earth, and the third Doctor, falls out of it. We never actually see it on screen, per se. So, the theory is that in between him going into that void and seemingly regenerating, and the third Doctor coming out, he didn't actually regenerate. He was, sent to Gallifrey or something, and he did a bunch more shit working for Gallifrey, thus could be working for the division. Which would explain why, A, he knew about the companions, B, why he looked older, C, why we never see the regeneration. Because that wasn't actually his regeneration, that was just the end of his era as the Doctor, at which point he had to work as an agent for the Time Lords.
Yeah.
And I subscribe to it. I think that would fit in. And if it turns out in this that, yeah, he makes that canon and she fits in there, so she's actually a incarnation between the second and third Doctor, I would very much rather that than a pre-Hartnell Doctor. 100%. He should be the first. I would have much rather that. And he's not doing that, by the way. That's not what it is. It is pre-Hartnell. Oh. But I would have preferred that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Questionable.
Yeah. And it's the Doctor when she first fought Swarm and Azul and defeated them and locked them up. And we find out a bit more about time and how it all works. Not the concept of the planet. And while in the time stream, she makes a deal with the Mori, and she makes a deal that they're going to go through the time stream and pick out 4 replacement Mori in order to save them, and so they can go free. It spits them out. Swarm, Azul, and Passenger are there, and they do a little speech being like, "Bravo, Doctor, we knew you would do that. We've already won. We've disrupted time enough," and they piss off. And then they go to the TARDIS, they drop Vinda off to look for his bae, who, we can now come back to her. It turns out it's Belle. Belle is Vinda's partner, and she's got an unborn child in her, which is his. And that's what the little Tamagotchi thing was.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that is really Doctor Who idea, being able to talk to your unborn baby with like a sci-fi app or something.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they've never done it before. It's also very Black Mirror shit. Like, it's very sci-fi, you know. I really enjoy it.
I did think it was a bit cringe though.
No, it was at first, but it was very much the ending and the revelation of what it was that redeemed it for me. Like, I could rewatch it with that in mind and enjoy it a lot more. Yeah. If it was just like a Tamagotchi pet, essentially, it would be dumb. But it is, you know, it's her baby. Like, no, I actually think it's quite cool. Like, imagine if they had that in real life, that sort of thing. Like, it'd be really cool. Like, it's very Doctor Who. And and then when they return to the TARDIS, Yaz opens up her phone for some reason. Like, the flux happened. The universe is destroyed. Who are you expecting a text from, Yaz? Why did you even... What, were you going to search through Reddit? Why the fuck did you even open your phone in the first place? What happened? But she opens her phone, and an angel pops up on the phone. She throws it, and the angel pops out through the phone and is in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
They all freak out. The Doctor, get behind me. And normally, it would actually be really easy. If there's 3 of you versus a weeping angel, guess what? There's 3 of you. Take turns blinking. You're going to live, pal. But the lights are flickering, and the angel is on the controls, and the Doctor's like, the angel has the TARDIS, and it's taking them somewhere. Cliffhanger.
Weren't there multiple angels?
There's just the one. No, it's just one angel. Remember how they cut it? So the lights go out and it's like moving rapidly.
Just one.
Yeah, the last one, it only had one,
I see.
And and it's one angel taking them somewhere. Yeah. But I thought it was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, I thought that was a good cliffhanger,
Angels, the next episode will be the Angel one. It's also the only episode in this entire series. I say it like it's a lot, but again, it's only 6 episodes, but the only episode out of those ones that isn't just Chris Chibnall. This one has a co-writer. And I'm excited to see what they do. I really do enjoy the Angels. The last few appearances have been really missed for me. The idea that the Statue of Liberty was a giant weeping angel. My main problem with that, and it's not just my problem, it's a lot of people's problems, but it's a really, really good problem to have with it. How was no one in the entirety of New York City looking at the Statue of Liberty? You're telling me not a single person in the entire city, the city that never sleeps, was looking at a weeping angel being the Statue of Liberty? Homeless people? Drunks? Just people who have the view from their windows. Yeah. Not a single one of them was looking long enough for the angel to fucking go there. Like, no. I don't believe that. But then you get to the problem of an image of an angel becomes an angel. It's the Statue of fucking Liberty.
Everyone's got like a picture of it on their fridge or something. Yeah. Like,
that's one of the most famous images in the entire world.
Yeah.
The world. Guess what? If that was the case, the angels won. They won. Yeah. No. They've taken over. Like, everywhere you can find an image of the fucking, like, what? Yeah. That makes no sense. Yeah. But I'm excited. Hopefully it brings them back to their roots a bit. I do like the idea of a town under siege by them. I think that's a cool concept. It's called Village of the Angels, so I think it's a cool idea. You know? If I was going to do a Weeping Angel story, I would do it as horror as I can. Because they are horror characters, they should be. That's why Blinked works so well, because it's a really effective short horror story. Yeah. You know? And I don't think they work very well. Like, that's the one where it's a Statue of Liberty. It's not scary. Yeah. It's not played for horror. It's just like mindless action, essentially. Like, no, turn up the horror aspect, really lean into the fact that these... And that's another thing with the Weeping Angels, alright, because we've seen them move, unfortunately. You know, we see them in that 2-parter with, Matt Smith and Amy. They actually move, and they're still angels. Yeah. That really sucks, and I wish we could forget that. Because I always thought it would have been so much cooler and scarier if, they aren't angels. It's just we perceive them as that when we see them, they turn into angels. They turn into the statues. But outside of that, we can't perceive them. They're like an unperceivable being. Like maybe just pure energy, maybe just like disgusting, like H.P. Lovecraft nightmare.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, no, it turns out, no, they're just angels. They just stand still when they're being seen, actually. They just look like that. I thought that really ruined a bit of it for me. And I would have much rathered it, we never see them move, never ever show what they look like. But unfortunately, no, they are just angels.
Yeah, this is like leaving things unexplained or unknown. Yeah. Because
that was the idea that I thought was scary. What's scarier, someone turning into a statue or someone? Because that is what they're doing now. Someone just standing still. Because when we see them move, it's not as if they grow skin or whatever. They still look like statues. You even hear the sound of stone moving. They're still stone.
Mm.
Like, what do they even turn into? They don't turn into anything. They just stand still now.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even... They haven't even got a defense. It's just standing still now if they're still angels.
Yeah.
Like, no, the idea was they turn into statues, and that includes the shape of it. And that is how they get... it really did ruin it for me. But overall, what would you rate episode 3?
No, maybe like a 5.
I'm going to be a bit harsher on this one. Because I think idea-wise, it's actually, I like ideas that are like trippy like this, like loads of stories at the same time. Like, they're all playing different characters in all the stories and shit, you got to keep up and all that stuff. I think, one, some of the stories in here are naff. Dan had nothing to do. Yaz's was really inconsistent. Rinder's was interesting, but again, I don't know if I care enough about him yet. I definitely hope this isn't his last appearance, but I mean...
I did quite like his bit. I enjoyed his
bit. It was good, but I mean it in the sense that I hope he comes back, but at the same time, if that was the last time we ever saw him, it's not the end of the world, I wouldn't care that much,
I did enjoy his bit more than
Dan and Yaz's.
Yeah, more than Dan.
The Doctor's bit was definitely the bit I'd tune in again for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't even last that long, really, because there's so much more in this episode.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen more of it. And more of the
There was quite a lot
Doctor
of stuff
in
crammed into it, wasn't there?
There was. There have been in all of these episodes, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, less so in the last one. I quite enjoyed the last one.
The last one kind of did strip it back a bit,
I thought like the pacing in the last one was good. There wasn't like a crap ton of stuff going on.
Although you say that, but you did say you felt it felt too long. Like it was an hour, and you said you felt it.
Yeah, it felt like an hour, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but that would be a pacing thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like
Endgame. Does Endgame feel 3 hours to you when you watch it?
Yeah.
Bullshit. Seriously, when you actually sit down and watch it, it feels like it drags.
Yeah, it feels like 3 hours.
Nah. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say it feels quick, but to me, it never feels like 3 hours. It feels more like 2 hours, 2.5 hour experience. Okay. At least half an hour of that film does fly by for me.
3 hours. But, in the previous one, there was not to the third one, to the one that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
The one with the Sontarans. Prior to that one, it just felt like there was so much more stuff crammed into it.
The Halloween one, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one, the third one, there was loads of stuff crammed into it, and
and we're already halfway through too.
It didn't feel like it just felt a bit weird because there was loads of stuff going on. Kind of makes it feel more like a montage than an actual coherent story. For me, at least, anyway. It's difficult to remember and comprehend everything if there's so many different things going on. I felt like that bit at the start with that lady, whatever her name's story, Belle's story, and then you've got all those other stories going on, but obviously that's part of the main story.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot more going on, whereas in the previous one, I enjoyed it more. It was more I guess linear.
Yeah.
It made more sense to me.
No, it did. Yeah, it had a more, especially with the third one. The third one has a completely different structure to maybe any other episode this series, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, I put it as like a 5. Like it was okay, but yeah.
I do think unfortunately I am going to rate it like a 4.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It definitely had some positive qualities, but at the same time, at the genuine same time, I feel like you could watch the Doctor bits, the Doctor bits, and then whenever you want to rewatch this episode, you could go right where the cliffhanger where she jumps in, and then you could skip right forward to when they come out, and you could just continue, and it wouldn't change the series as a whole. Like, this was like a filler episode, essentially.
Yeah.
Just done in a really high concept way, but it's still filler.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Overall, I have been not as disappointed as I thought I was going to be honest. The main reason why I never really watched any more Doctor Who episodes after the first season of Matt Smith was just because, it just kind of lost it for me, and I didn't want to watch episodes that were just going to put me off Doctor Who. And a part of me was thinking, oh, am I going to watch this and just be completely put off Doctor Who? Is it going to ruin Doctor Who for me?
Well, that's the thing.
Doctor Who. And it hasn't really done that, in the way that I thought it might do.
That's the beauty of Doctor Who, though, because it's impossible. You can't ruin Doctor Who. Because no matter how bad it gets, because of the way it's made and it's so constantly changing and evolving, it never stays the same for long. Yeah. Even if it's in a bad spell, something will change eventually. Yeah. That brings it either back or, I don't know, it could make it worse, but hopefully brings it back,
Yeah, and it hasn't really changed my memories of it as it was previously. So yeah, but I've enjoyed watching it again. It's interesting to see where it is now.
That's good.
And it is it's still Doctor Who.
Yeah,
which is
good.
Yeah,
Jodie has felt more like the Doctor than ever. She really has. I really hope when she does leave, she will eventually big finish. Yeah. Because I think she'll shine with really good writers. Yeah. Proper writers who get to flesh out. And I really hope when she does do big finish, it's just her and Yaz. Fuck off, Ryan and Graham. We don't need you, and we never did.
Yeah.
We really didn't. We never did. And this season has shown me... In fact... War of the Sontarans was a real highlight because you got to see her, without her companions. And guess what? She really shined in that episode. The companions kind of drag her down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it's true. They kind of do. They drag her down. So yeah, either just Yaz or some solo stories.
Yeah.
Don't know when they fit it in. If it was just with Yaz, they'd obviously fit it in before this series because they were going on adventures at the beginning. But if it's just her, I don't know when. But figure it out. But yeah, is that the end of the episode, you think?
I think so.
It's been a good one.
Yeah. We're currently at...
Doesn't have to be
2 hours?
Too long. Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
I'm fine with 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed it says it at the bottom. I was looking at the top. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for listening, watching, doing, being.
Just being here with us.
Yeah. Especially with me.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait, no. With me.
With me.
With me.
No, with me.
With me.
Oh, actually, no, wait, there is one quick topic I want to really bring up.
All right, yeah.
What makes a good Spider-Man?
what makes a good Spider-Man?
So, me and Hector here, say hello, Hector.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. We are on a Discord server, and a friend of ours on the server was questioning me about some of the Spider-Man. And he made 3 claims that are coherently untrue. Just adamantly false. And I want to dispel them and give my reasonings. His 3 claims are 1, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Stop touching. 1, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was so bad he's good, and that's why people enjoy him. 2, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is just bad, outright. And 3, Tom Holland Spider-Man is the best one. All 3 of these statements are false, and here is why. Okay? I'm going to do this quick, because I don't need to go in a bit. I could go on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it brief. Spider-Man as a character can be very subjective. It depends what you want. For me, the reason why he should be like considered the greatest hero is because of his resilience and his kind of, his fortitude. Like, he is a guy who will always get back up. No matter how hard he's knocked down, he's going to find a way, he's going to drag himself up, he's going to make jokes doing it, because when he makes jokes, he feels more confident, he feels, and it's a distraction, you know, it's a defense mechanism, you know. He's the guy, and that's why I think he's great, because he will always get back up fighting and quipping. And I personally, let's go through all of them, because I want to talk about how all of them represent that sort of idea of the character for me. Toby's really good at getting himself back up. He goes through some shit. He stopped an entire train with just his body and passed out, and he was fucked up.
Yeah.
He loses his powers for a bit. He does get a bit fucked up. He loses it on the quips. Not very quippy. He doesn't really make any jokes.
He makes serious.
Some. But he is more serious. Yeah. Which isn't that big of a part of Spider-Man. Spider-Man isn't a serious hero, you know, which will be interesting when he's in No Way Home, you know, to see how he melds with that.
Yeah.
Andrew, I'm going to skip for now, because he's the best. Okay, let me explain. Tom really has nailed down the quips. I like him when he's quipping. He's got it good. Here's my problem with Tom's getting back up. He's done it. He's done it a good couple of times. The most prominent one being in Homecoming, when a building falls on him. It's straight from the comics. A building falls on him and he literally like pushes the building up to get himself out.
Yeah.
However, Tom's Spider-Man has way too much of a need help problem. Every movie he's done has had him with a mentor, like an Iron Man and Nick Fury and, you know, and all that stuff.
Strange.
Yeah. But not only that, but all the fights we've seen him do single-handedly, I don't want to say cheated, but he didn't win them from his strength.
Mm.
His fight against Vulture in Homecoming, the fucking jetpack he's using, the Vulture's wings are exploding and shit. And he like saves Vulture. But yeah, if the wings weren't exploding, he wouldn't have won. And then with Mysterio, this is a bit more, you know, not a cheat, but it just so happens at that moment, his spider sense finally kicks in, and he's able to grab the gun and stop, you know, and that's that's cooler. But those are like it. Apart from like random henchmen, that's it. Like, I want to see this, and even with Homecoming, not even having Doctor Strange, there's going to be 2 other Spider-Men. I am not convinced yet that this guy can actually handle a full situation on his own.
Yeah.
Like a proper situation. I'm not convinced. This guy needs too much help. And Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, he can get help for sure, but he shouldn't need help. It shouldn't seem like he relies on help as much as Tom
like
has.
most, especially like in the animated, it's all him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's him. He does most of the heavy lifting on his own.
And Andrew has a really good mix of both, because he also gets some of the heaviest hits. The death of Gwen Stacy. You know, Uncle Ben, we also see him die, where we don't see that for Tom, which I've always, you know, I get why we didn't see it. We didn't need to see it again, but at the same time, it is a kind of a point off for Tom. We don't know how he reacted to that. We will eventually, but not yet. And yeah, Andrew, yeah, he went through some shit. And then he has that dry spell at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 where he doesn't know if he wants to carry on doing it.
Mm.
And unlike with Spider-Man 2, the actual Spider-Man 2, where Tobey Maguire doesn't want to do it because he's kind of losing his powers, his life is kind of suckish, you know, and he just wants to kind of be a normal guy. Andrew doesn't want to do it because he literally just got his girlfriend killed. And he, you know, he thinks he's not helping anyone. And he's more danger than he lets on. And then he puts on her graduation speech and she's talking about hope and like how it should inspire people to do better. And he decides to go back out there and he fights the Rhino. Like that, for me, that's Spider-Man. Like, yeah, Spider-Man, again, he always gets back up. Spider-Man is the sort of guy who, if he hits hard enough, yeah, he will spend a little while moping. But at the end of the day, he always gets back up. Andrew, at the end of that movie, that fucking did it for me. Even at his lowest, something would inspire him again to raise up. Something would remind him that great power has great responsibility.
Is that the actor, though? Or is that the writing?
That's the character.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's the character. Like, what do you mean? Like,
I think he was referring more to the actors rather than the character.
But no, because if that's the case, that's not what he said at all. Because you're not just saying Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in No Way Home means nothing if it's not that Spider-Man. What, you want to see them as different people?
Yeah, I know.
You want to see variants
in terms
of that Spider-Man?
He's saying, like, Tobey Maguire's so good it's bad. I think he means more in terms of, like, the acting rather than, like, the writing for the character. Because, like, he would have said, like, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, not Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield is Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I feel like they're two sort of, like, points of discussion.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to admit to that. So I'm actually just going to say we'll never know.
Okay.
I'm not going to admit to that.
Yeah.
I will be honest. I didn't read it as that at all. I very much felt we were on the same page as we were talking about the characters.
I see.
Because he even brings up, like, he thought, like, he didn't think Andrews was good because he was too cocky as the Amazing Spider-Man and Peter's supposed to be a nerd.
Mm.
And, yeah, let me get into that quick. Yes. Well, yeah, Peter is supposed to be a nerd, you're right. But this isn't Peter Parker, the movie.
Mm.
It's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And there's a duology there with the, you know, they're both separate characters. And yeah, I will grant you, possibly the worst Peter. Yeah, unfortunately. But we're talking about Spider-Man. And if we're talking about Spider-Man, he's one of the best. For sure. He truly is. He embodied the character so well. And if we keep talking about that, Tobey Maguire, amazing Peter, classic Peter, perfect Peter. His Spider-Man is iconic, but again, a bit too serious to be like a amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, not the amazing, but a amazing.
I felt like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was like a lot like the 90s animated one.
Yeah. And the 90s one is also a really good one, but again, he's quippier too, though. He does quip more. But yeah, unfortunately, not enough quips. And again, we get to Tom Holland. And again, I want to stress, I don't hate Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He's fine. I like him. But his Peter isn't nerdy enough, I want to say. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not popular, but he's not nerdy. Like, he doesn't... And again, maybe it's because they haven't really given him a chance to show it yet, but he's not like a scientist.
Compared to like Tobey Maguire's nerdy Peter Parker. Yeah, he's not nerdy. He's more like the good looking, like, funny.
And yeah, he's not as cocky as Andrew Garfield, but hey, if you gave Tom Holland's Peter Parker a skateboard, I think it'd be exactly the same level of cockiness.
Yeah.
Like, he's just not outwardly cocky, but he's the same level as, like, nerdiness, in my opinion. And then you get to his actual Spider-Man, and yeah, his Spider-Man is quippy, but at the same time, his quips they're not that good. The writing for these latest films of his aren't that good. And in this trailer, that line where it's like, you know, I know a magic word that begins with the word please.
Yeah.
It's that sort of writing for all of them, unfortunately. So yeah, some of his quips are a bit shit. Like, you get that bit where he's with Childish Gambino, and the joke is that he comes out and he's like, where are the drugs going? And Childish Gambino's like, are you a girl? And he's like, I'm not a girl, I'm a man. And then he puts on a fake voice and he's like, I'm a man.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, I get it. I get why it's funny.
Yeah.
But when I'm thinking of Peter Parker, I think of more puns.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and you know, Andrew Garfield had a good one of that. Because he calls Electro Sparkles throughout the film, and then at the end he's like, "I will be a god," and he goes, "A god named Sparkles?" Like, that's the sort of Peter Parker quip I imagine, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a hill I'm willing to fight on. And yeah, I do think you have to look at Peter Parker and Spider-Man as two separate characters. For example, if you look at Batman, Christian Bale was a really fucking great Bruce Wayne. His Batman, wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
Then you look at Ben Affleck, his Bruce Wayne, bit naff, no one cares. His Batman, apart from the fact that he killed, was amazing. But his Bruce Wayne was naff enough. And the fact that he killed was bad enough, and it was, he shouldn't kill, that people kind of discredited it a bit. But you have to look at that bit. That's why I like Arkham so much. Because while it focuses so heavily on Batman, all the conversations you have with Alfred and Oracle, you get a lot of the Bruce Wayne stuff coming through there. You know, you get a lot of the backstory in the dialogue. You know, they have random exchanges where you'll be talking to them as Batman, but something will break through and you're like, that's a Bruce line, actually. That's Bruce talking to them. Kind of thing, you know? Like, yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I said it, I summarised it in the Discord, and I'll do it again here. Toby's the best Peter, Andrew's the best Spider-Man, Tom is the best neither. And I will go on record with that. He can, of the 3 statements he said, I think saying that Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man was the most incorrect statement of all of them. Like, you can have your reasonings for thinking that Andrew's a bad Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire, man, at least he's like, you have to put him somewhere.
No, but you can have your opinion. I can understand thinking he's so bad it's good. Not the character per se, but the films in general, because of their campy. You know, if you don't like camp, I get it. For me, it's the exact right amount of camp for a comic book. It feels like a comic book camp, and that's why I enjoy it. But if you don't like it, fair enough. No one's forcing you to. But to say Tom, because here's the thing: not only is he not the best Spider-Man in film, but if you just look at what Spider-Man is in the comics, he's the worst, like, adaptation of Spider-Man. Like, he is not comic accurate. Really at all.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it is his relationship with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, he thinks Tony Stark is a dick. Because, and Andrew Garfield actually knows this too, and he mentioned it in an interview once, when the first one was coming out, because the first Amazing Spider-Man came out with the same year as Avengers, the first Avengers. So he was asked in an interview, you know, would you like to join that universe? And he was like, yeah. And he was asked which one he'd get along with most. And he said he couldn't answer it, but he thought the one that he'd get along with the least would be Tony Stark. Because if you think about it, Tony, he's got such an ego, and he's like, you know, he's a rich, you know, he's a philanthropist, you know, billionaire. Peter is a man of the people. Yeah. He's supposed to be broke. He's supposed to be struggling. He's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Well, Iron Man is the leader of the Avengers.
Yeah.
In the comics, it's like that. He thinks he's a dickhead. He's actually a lot closer with Captain America in the comics.
Which makes sense.
And makes me sad. Because in the entirety of the MCU, Captain America and Spider-Man have one conversation. One. And that's probably all we'll ever get from Steve Rogers and Peter Parker in the MCU. One conversation where he's like, where are you from, kids? And he goes, Queens. And he goes, Brooklyn. That's it. Like, man.
Well, I guess it's a different adaptation of it, I guess.
No, it is. But I think, cause that's another thing. He said it was objectively the best. No. If you're actually talking objectively, if you look at the comic Spider-Man, he's objectively the worst. He doesn't have the qualities that the comic Spider-Man has. He has the powers. He has the name. Sure. Yeah, he's definitely Peter Parker. You got that right. But he's barely Spider-Man, man. Like, really and truly. And Mary Jane too. Dude, this isn't Mary Jane. There's a reason why she's Michelle and they just call her MJ. Yeah. This is a completely new original character. You know?
Yeah.
And Ned, guess what? You know Ned? You know how he had Harry? There's Ned now. You know why he's Ned?
Why?
Because they stole that character from Miles Morales. He has a friend called Genki, who is Ned. He's just Ned. And they didn't think they'd ever make a Miles movie, so they were just like, yeah, we're just going to take Genki. Ned Leeds? Guess who Ned Leeds is in the comics? He's the Hobgoblin. He's not fucking friends with Peter Parker. He's a Hobgoblin. Like, They just took him and was like, yeah, take the personality of Genki, who's a really popular character in the comics, and just give him to Ned.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, they might not have necessarily
Where's Harry?
To link it.
I know
in
it would
that way.
be. I know why they didn't do Harry, because then we wouldn't just have 3 Peter Parkers. We'd also have 3 fucking Harrys. That's too many Harrys.
Yeah.
But we could have fucking Harry Civil War. But at the same time, you know, you've detached it enough at this point that if you look at this as like. If you actually look at this as like, and if you're a comic fan and you're looking to this as like from the comics perspective, no, 100% I get why you'd be disappointed. The only reason I enjoyed it is because I can look into it from just the MCU perspective. If you take all the other Spider-Man into it, including the comics, games, you know, animation, no man, to say he's objectively the best, no. Even out of those 3, no.
Yeah.
No! Like, no.
Yeah. Out of those 3, my favourite, Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cut this and send this to our friend on Discord so he understands where I'm coming from. But no, man, like, you got, because the character is subjective. Everyone has their own version of what Spider-Man is. And that does make it harder to choose. And again, there's 3 of them, you know, there's no definitive answer either way.
Yeah.
But if you look at what Spider-Man is throughout all of those mediums, I think when you get to the core constant of what he's supposed to be, which is that guy, he's the last, like, he considers himself like the last stand. You know, he's the guy that will always get up. He's fighting for New York. He's the only one who can. Like, in the trailer, there's that one shot where he's like beaten to a pulp and he's saying to Mary Jane, I can't save everyone. And he's like, you know, clearly upset about it. I said to you when we watched the trailer, that's like his most Spider-Man shot.
Yeah.
Because that's Spider-Man. He can't save everyone, and that breaks his heart. You know?
Yeah.
And and don't get me wrong, when this new movie comes out, that could totally change. Maybe Tom will really finally embody the role for me. But as it stands, no. I don't think he's the best, sorry.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
I'm not apologising. I'm apologising to
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But for everyone else, and you.
Yeah, and you. Yeah.
I'm not going to just say...
yeah, for everyone else apart from you.
But for everyone else, thank you for watching or listening or not doing it. You know, if you didn't listen to this, we're going to thank you too, because now we thanked everyone. In the whole world. Yeah, we thanked all, and now you all owe us. You all owe us a thanks. Yeah, and $1. Yeah, so thank us in the street and give us $1 in the street. Yeah. You know what? If everyone gave us $1... We'd have $7 billion. We'd be billionaires. Yeah, we'd be billionaires. Why don't we just try it? Yeah. Everyone give us $1. We're going to set up a PayPal in our name. Yeah. We want everyone in the entire world. And I know, I'm not an idiot. I know not everyone in the world is listening. So what I want you to do is, if you're listening, I want you to send this $1. I want you to tell everyone you know. And here's how we're going to hook them in, Hector. I want you to tell everyone you know, hey guys, this is for a charity that is literally working towards, and then I want you to pause when you're talking to them and go, hear me out. And then I want you to go, this is a charity that is literally working towards putting babies on the moon. Yeah. The climate change is going wrong. Yeah. We need to evacuate the planet. Obviously, if we try and evacuate first, we can't do that, because then we'd be in space, and what? Are the babies going to fly themselves to the moon? So instead, we need to fly the babies there. We have to send them all there first, so then we know they're safe on the moon, and we can evacuate Earth properly without fearing for the safety of our babies. Yeah. That makes sense, yeah. It does, and then everyone will be like, oh, wow, how much are they asking for? And then you can be like, get this. There's 2 exact things they're asking for. One is just a single $1, and the second is tell everyone you know. You can do that. You can do that one for free. Yeah. And I think if we get this enough, not only are we going to become billionaires, but also, I have to think at some point, we're going to make the news. At some point, it's going to make the news that this charity that's trying to send fucking babies to space to the moon. And then Elon Musk is going to reach out to us and be like, hey, I love what you're doing. No, he's going to reach out and be like, Listen up, pricks. I had this idea first, okay? I've been working towards this for 10 years.
It's a race to get the babies to the moon.
Where are we going to find these babies?
We'll just...
You know what? I'm sure we could just adopt one under false pretenses and send it.
Yeah.
We're a gay couple.
With $7 billion, we don't even need to be a couple. With $7 billion, you can just adopt someone.
Actually, no, wait, because I didn't know we were actually doing it. I thought it was just a ruse. Like, a lie. I didn't think we were actually going to be sending...
I know I am.
No, I want to keep the money, Hector. It's our money. We earned it with the ruse.
We're spending all $7 billion of those dollars to buy rockets, babies.
Oh, man. I don't want to do it anymore then. Can I... You can still do it, but can I step out?
You can step out. I'll just take all the $7 billion for myself.
Okay. Well, yeah, if anyone's listening, it's PayPal at... I don't want to actually say one, actually, because... I mean, it won't be real, but maybe you're an idiot. You're an actual fucking dude. And you'd send it money to that. And then you'd message us eventually being like, did you get our money? No, we didn't get your money. It's fake. You're an idiot.
.com. That's it. It's that's yeah.
That's good. That's good. Alright, yeah. For the third and final time, thank you for listening, and